this working? Look good. Alright. Maybe. Hello? There it goes. Okay. Welcome back to Ace Attorney Investigations. Last we left off, we were in episode 4, I think it was. We were investigating a murder at what used to be a house that a baker, not baker, but chocolatier, I suppose, lived in. But now it's like a museum of some sculptures or something. Pre-update for Ace Attorney Phoenix Wright. Huh. Well, that's right. Apparently the original trilogy is getting a bit of an update to bring it more in line with the functions of the other ones. Hopefully that means they give it a history function, and it was sorely lacking when I was playing it. Not that it matters for me now, but, you know, nice to have, in general. That's not allowed. Alright, how's that? Alright, looks good. It's working over here. Yes. Okay, cool. And I suppose we'll just jump back in. Oh, it's episode 3. I thought it was 4. Oh well, episode 3 then. April 2nd, 2:33 p.m. Zodiac Hall, Fountain Room. The test results have just come in, sir. Traces of ubiquitous were found in the teapot. They were? Yeah. Drink some water. Just like Mr. Edgeworth said. Curse you! You better not think this means you beat me. You really need to drop this obsession with coming in first, Mr. Winter. We're all on the same side here, remember? We're all trying to get to the truth. What? The first is best! Everybody knows it's better to be a winner than a loser. That's really no way for a prosecutor to think. Or not a successful one, anyway. But I... Enough. Mr. Edgeworth, please refrain from taunting the boy. Ignore him, Eustace. He isn't worthy of your attention. But Phil... Oh, alright. Why don't I take care of things from here for now? In the meantime, you can perform the far more important task of going and checking on the victim. Yeah, good idea. I'll be right back. Excellent. We shall see you shortly then. Mr. Winter's annoying, but totally harmless. Judge Cavell, on the other hand... Now... Miss Bound, perhaps you could explain why traces of ubiquitous were found in your teapot? I had no idea there was anything like that in there. Perhaps it is one of the ingredients in the dishwashing soap I use? You are telling the court that you did not intentionally put ubiquitous in the teapot. Yes, exactly. Why would I? Until today, I had no idea that it could be even used. That it could even be used to make poison gas.
Objection!
You're a trained actress, are you not, Miss Bound? I'd have thought you would be a more convincing liar. What do you mean? You have access to the Ultimate Cookbook, correct? A book that just happens to contain instructions on how to create the poison gas used in the attack. Meaning, it's perfectly possible for you to know exactly how to make it. You're very well informed, Mr. Edgeworth. Miss Bound, Is what Mr. Edgeworth said true? That book does contain information about how to make the poison gas, yes. But the fact that I've seen it doesn't make me guilty. Can I ask exactly how the gas was triggered? The victim used a blowtorch to heat the lid of one of the display cases, thereby melting the ubiquium. I see. But he locked himself in the room too, didn't he? Surely that, and the fact that he triggered it himself, wouldn't it point to it being a suicide attempt? So she's not willing to admit to anything. Furthermore, where would I have gotten hold of the Infesticide Ultra? Oh, I don't know. Perhaps you stole it.
You know, I did bump into Moody Judy a week or so ago. And that very evening, I noticed my Infesticide Ultra had gone missing. Judy, surely you didn't. Alicia, you carry your bag of pharmaceuticals with you everywhere, don't you? There would have been any number of opportunities for someone other than myself to steal it from you.
That's true. I don't have any hard evidence that it definitely was Miss Bound who stole it. Dudes, there's clearly something you're not telling us. Why don't you just come clean? We all know you'd never hurt somebody for no reason, so...
Not you too? You think I'm guilty as well, Mr. Fender?
You blame me? You've got one wing disguised as another, a gas trap in one of the display cases. You're the proprietor of the establishment. Something a lot like you did it, kiddo.
You've got this all wrong. You have to remember, the gallery doesn't have any security cameras nor any security personnel. If some ill-intentioned person or other wanted to get in undetected, I don't think they'd have much of a problem. Wow, you're practically asking to be burglarized. You need to be more careful. A great thief could have a field day in here.
And I don't think she's joking.
And actually, it seems that Mr. Gusteau did in fact enter the gallery before it opened.
Sheesh. Judy's one tough cookie. She's not budging an inch. Maybe it's time to rock a little technique Gregory taught me back in the day. And what technique might that be? So, hear me out. Everything's connected to what happened 18 years back, yeah? And since we're not getting anywhere by focusing only on the here and now, maybe we ought to approach this from a different angle. Look to the past for clues instead. Turnabout and thinking. So my father used this method as well. Alright, let's run this through the old Thinkatron. How was Jude's involved and what happened back then? According to Miss Bound, it was because of her that Mr. Frost's flavored ice sculptures melted. And yet, his sculptures are here on display at this very gallery today. Is it possible that she... Thank you, Fender. I think I know what I need to ask Miss Bound now. Don't thank me, thank your pops. Now, take it away, Milesy. I'll grab the popcorn. Miss Bound, you say that you were the one who caused Mr. Frost's creations to melt 18 years ago, correct?
I'm afraid so. I was young and foolish. It was a terrible accident.
And yet, what you did allowed you to open this exhibit, no?
What do you mean?
Yes, what do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
If you are going to ask such questions, perhaps a formal testimony from Miss Bound might be best.
Yes, perhaps it might. I'd like to know a little more about Zodiac Hall. And about why Miss Bound decided to dedicate this space to Mr. Frost's works.
Very well. If you believe it to be relevant to the case, I will allow it. Miss Bound, would you mind? Not at all. I'll do whatever it takes to prove that I'm innocent.
Then please, if you could give us some
Some background on Zodiac Hall and the pieces on display here.
Zodiac Hall.
It took 18 years, but at long last I was finally able to buy Samson's home back a little while ago. But a place like this is expensive to maintain, so I decided to turn it into an art gallery. To that end, I collected as many Paul Halik pieces as I could from around the world. Because, if I'm honest, it's always been something of a dream of mine to open a space dedicated to his work. Thank you for your testimony, Miss Bound. How wonderful it is that you were able to fulfill your dream. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, everything seems entirely above board to me. Judge Gravel was simply the witness's preliminary statement. As you surely know, the value of that testimony cannot be evaluated without due cross-examination. Spoken like a true attorney. Very well. You may do what you must.
18 years. Finally, we'll buy it back.
Hold it!
18 years. Must have gone through a lot to buy it back, Miss Bound. This home, this place, such memories abound. Couldn't stand to lose what I had found. Samson, I did what I had to do to see that home was waiting here for you. How does she make it look so easy?
I'll say, but I wouldn't expect any less from a trained triple threat professional. Performer is what that says.
If you could continue with your testimony, Miss Bound, minus the singing, if you please.
Expense and maintain, and turn into art gallery.
Hold it!
You manage the gallery by yourself, Miss Bound? Yes, well, we only opened today, so I haven't done much actual managing yet, but I have to keep the mansion going. Can't have it falling down around my ears. Samson could come home any day after all.
So she really got the house back for him. I'm so sorry, Judy. I wish I could have done more.
Oh, you've done plenty, Mr. Fender. If anyone should have done more, it's me. Even if the only thing I could do right now is to keep this place safe for Samson. To that end, I collected as many Paul Halik pieces as I could from around the world.
Hold it!
Paul Halik was Mr. Frost's pseudonym, correct? Yes, he adopted it while he was working as a sculptor in France. I see. I'm curious about some of the pieces in your collection. More specifically, how you were able to acquire the Taurus and Gemini sculptures. It's my understanding that Mr. Frost died before he could complete them. Yes, I was able to create replicas for the Winter Wing based on photos of the sculptures he made. Really? Perhaps you could go into some more detail on that? Because, if I'm honest, it's always been something of a dream of mine to open a space dedicated to his work.
Hold it!
Tell me more about this dream of yours, Miss Bound. Well, what I really wanted was to open a gallery with Samson, of course. A gallery of dance, a gallery of song, a gallery of gaiety and candy all day long. That was the idea, anyway. And here I thought art was to be appreciated in silence and accompanied by musical numbers. Alas, Mr. Tangaroa transgressed against the edicts of the goddess of justice, and as such, that part of your dream may go permanently unfulfilled. No, Samson he's innocent. That awful prosecutor refused to listen, but it's true. He'd never hurt anybody. Mr. Tangaroa gave a false confession in order to protect Miss Bound. The two of them really did what they could to protect one another, didn't they? He was able to create replicas for the Winter Wing based on photos of the sculptures he made.
Hold it!
These photos you mentioned, you mean the ones you yourself took in Mr. Frost's room 18 years ago?
Yes, you certainly know a lot about what happened back then, Mr. Edgeworth. So, those statues in the Winter Wing were just copies? I didn't even get to see them before they melted.
No, sculptures in question were definitely not replicas. Which means Miss Bound is lying.
I know, it's such an awful shame. And after we went to the trouble to recreate them too.
Sculptures in the Winter Wing weren't replicas, and the very ones from 18 years ago. And to show her I'm aware of that, well, I'll never get to the truth. Let's see. I suppose it's this one with the sugar in it, because you wouldn't need to be also sugar if you're just replicating the statues themselves, plus it wouldn't be necessarily the same kind.
Objection!
There's a hair on my screen. I'm afraid you've run out of road, Miss Mound. You can lie all you like, but you can't deny the results of the tests conducted on the sculpture's remains. And those tests leave no room for ambiguity. What you had on display weren't replicas. They were the very statues Mr. Frost carved 18 years ago.
Oh, I can probably help explain how they worked it out if you'd like, dear. It's a sugar, you see. You might think sugar is sugar, but composition is actually very unique. You'd probably recreate the statues, but the sweet secret of their chemical makeup? No chance.
Thank you, Miss Stone. I don't recall asking for help, but still. To put it simply, the statues didn't disappear back then because they'd melted. They disappeared because you spirited them away and kept them hidden for these 18 long years.
What? She kept a pair of flavored ice sculptures around somewhere all that time?
It's not like the most out there idea in the world, so you got a big enough icebox.
Overruled.
Quiet, all of you. Miss Bound, have you anything to say in your defense? So you've already learned that much. Should I take that to mean you admit to having hidden the flavored ice sculptures in question? No, I admit to no such thing. You haven't proven that I was the one who took those statues away. And you won't, because it would have been impossible for me to do so in the first place. The police were already here when they disappeared. How could I have done it without them noticing?
How indeed. I don't yet know exactly how you did it, but I'm far from ready to say that it was impossible for you to have stolen them away.
You're a very persistent man, aren't you, Mr. Edgeworth?
I am indeed, and I won't stop until I get to the truth.
I see. Then I'd better tell you exactly what I did that day 18 years ago.
What I did that day.
The whole time before judging began, I was waiting upstairs in our living area on standby. During the judging, I had to go change the camera film's cartridge for Samson. But before I could take the camera back to Samson, I discovered Mr. Frost's body. Later, around when your father arrived, I began to make the rounds and serve tea to everybody present. That was when I saw Mr. Cousteau entering Mr. Frost's room. And those were my movements on the day it all happened. I hardly see how you could take issue with any of that.
That's for us to decide, Miss Mound.
You saying there's a contradiction in her story, Mr. Edgeworth?
I'm more focused on proving the fact that she did indeed steal those statues. The question is, when she would have had the opportunity to do so. So if I can pinpoint that, I might be able to prove what exactly she got up to. What were you doing while you were waiting?
I was in my room practicing some dance routines. I was on a TV show called Bacon Bop with Samson, you see. Bacon Bop? What kind of show was it?
It was a children's show. The two of them would sing and dance as they made a variety of sweets.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Hold the phone, Miles. You used to watch it. My father introduced me to it. I may have watched an episode or two. So Miss Bound passed the time before the judging began by practicing her dance routines. Was this the moment when Miss Bound stole the sculptures? I don't know. I have to look through things. It can't have been the moment she did it. I better look careful. I better listen carefully to what she says. Judging had to go change the camera's film cartridge.
Hold it!
Were you the only one who was able to move around freely during the judging?
Well, I wouldn't say freely exactly, but I was able to move around more easily than the contestants, yes. Even so, I could hardly have spirited the sculptures away while Samson was standing right there, could I? And I ran straight off to change the film as soon as he asked me. I wouldn't have had the time.
So, changing the film and the camera as requested by Mr. Tangaroa. Was this the moment Miss Bound stole the sculptures? What's that? That can't have been the moment she did it. I better listen carefully with what she says.
It makes more sense to be...
Because he went in there and judged them. And he never pointed out that they were gone, so it must have been after that.
Hold it!
You entered the room containing Mr. Tangaro's work before bringing the camera back to him, correct?
Yes, I heard the sound of something collapsing. Samson, are you in here?
The sound of the chocolate chip falling over after a certain someone took a bite out of one of the sports. Mr. Tangaroa was still in Mr. Gusteau's room when you found the body?
Yes, I'm fairly sure that was the case.
Still need to figure out who killed that guy. Like, was the plan to just leave the body in there for... ever? Like, the support collapsing didn't seem to be part of the plan. That was a whole other thing.
He was judging each room in order, and he liked to take his time.
From the point at which he discovered Mr. Frost's body, is this the moment Mr. Bound stole the sculptures? That can't have been the moment she did it. I'd better listen carefully to what she says.
When your father arrived, he began to make the rounds and serve tea to everybody present.
Hold it!
Just as you did today.
Yes, I went around and offered everybody working on the investigation a cup of tea.
Present company included. I remember it well. You were here, there, upstairs, downstairs, everywhere with that little card of yours. Interesting. Did anything strike you strange around that time? Oh yeah, Gregor was singing the praises of Judy's tea, and I think he mentioned his saucer was cold. His saucer was cold? Is this the moment when Miss Bound stole the sculptures? Sounds like it. Miss Bound, I believe this was when you stole the sculptures.
I hate to contradict you, but the fountain room was full of witnesses at that point, Mr. Fender included. Are you suggesting that I somehow got the sculptures out of Mr. Frost's room right under everyone's noses?
That is precisely what I am suggesting. John stole those ice sculptures, did it by hiding them here.
Take that!
My father and Fender had no idea one of the sculptures was merely inches away from them. Because it wasn't just a tea set you were pushing around, Miss Bound, but a hidden ice sculpture in a glass case.
Overruled!
Surely such a thing would have been impossible. How would a case of that size have fit on a serving cart? It would have been spotted immediately.
Objection!
Who said anything about a serving cart?
Oh, what? I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Edgeworth. What are you suggesting she used instead?
I'm suggesting that Miss Bound used this to transport the sculptures.
Take that!
And this is...
The cart that Miss Bound used to remove the flavored ice sculptures out of Mr. Frost's room 18 years ago. It would appear that the very same cart is still here with us in this fountain room.
We originally bought it for use in the contest. You're saying that Miss Bound loaded Mr. Frost's sculptures onto this cart and carried them off?
I am. As you can imagine, all one would need to do is lay a case on its side, add a tablecloth, and it'd look exactly like a normal serving cart, thus allowing her to move the sculptures around freely. Gotta be quick about it, though.
Can it be?
Holy moly, of course! That's why the sauces were so chilly. They were sitting on top of a big block of ice. Jeez, how could you?
Impressive. Then again, you are Mr. Gregory Edgeworth's son. I should have expected no less. There isn't a scrap of evidence that I stole the sculptures all those years ago now. And yet, I knew that no matter what I said or did, I would always be under a cloud of suspicion. So you admit it. You admit that you stole them from Mr. Frost's room. Yes, I do. I took those sculptures and their glass cases out of that room 18 years ago. As Mr. Edgeworth correctly deduced, I dressed up the lift cart as a serving cart to do it. And slipped in and out of Mr. Frost's room while I was going around serving tea to everybody. In the end, I'd removed not only the sculptures, but the flavored ice Zodiac blocks as well.
Zodiac blocks? I feel like I've seen them for myself before. There's a huge block of ice on display here. Must be incredibly heavy. Oh, maybe not, what with it being hollow on the inside. The Winter Wing really is an exact replica of Mr. Frost's room from 18 years ago. Then, even though my father never saw them because they'd already melted, the Zodiac blocks must have been in the victim's room back then as well.
When I had finished moving the 2 ice sculptures and the 2 Zodiac blocks out, I took 2 fresh, empty cases to Mr. Frost's room and put them where the original 2 had been. Only the sculptures had been kept in glass cases, you see, to prevent them from being damaged. The blocks were a little more robust, so they had been displayed as is. As stated in the contest rules, we were responsible for providing all display materials, including cases.
Meaning it would have been easy for her to prepare those empty spares she swapped in.
Mr. Frost's room contained quite a few other flavored ice works in progress. I figured that if I melted them down somehow, the resulting puddle would look like it came from the sculptures. And that is how the sculptures from 18 years ago came to be in the Winter Wing today. I have to say, Mr. Edgeworth, that's quite a confession.
Indeed. I think she offered it so willingly because she knows there's nothing we can do with it.
That's all I have to tell you. However, despite everything I've shared, you can't charge me with anything now, can you? What? How do you figure that? Oh my. I would have thought you might know at least this much, given we're at a crime scene. I suggest you memorize the various statute of limitations outlined in this book. Statues of what?
Statute of limitations book jotted down. Interesting. Simply put, K. Prosecutors only have a certain amount of time within which they can Prosecutors only have a certain amount of time within which they can put a suspect on trial for a given crime. Let's take a closer look, shall we? Theft. 7 years from the date of the crime. I was reading that.
So it's different for every crime? Murder, 15 years. Theft, 7 years. Ah!
I'd like to take a closer look at that. Theft. 7 years from the date of the crime. Separate time frames apply with regards to claims for damages, etc. Murder. 15 years from the date of the crime. The statute is suspended should the suspect flee to a foreign country. The statute is suspended from the time of any accomplice's indictment to the end of their trial. Fair enough. Yes, Miss Pound stole the ice sculptures 18 years ago. So it's too late to have her arrested for that crime.
I don't believe it.
Theft is a serious matter, especially when it involves the removal of evidence from a crime scene. However, as you yourself just pointed out, Miss Bow can no longer be prosecuted for a crime. Rendering your revelation rather pointless, wouldn't you say, Mr. Edgeworth?
Objection!
I wouldn't be so sure about that. You see, the theft of the ice sculptures isn't my principal interest here. I find the body that reappeared 18 years after the theft to be of considerably more interest.
Are you suggesting that I also hid Mr. Frost's body?
I am indeed.
How do you keep a body hidden for 18 years without anybody finding it?
I mean, the ice sculptures were hidden. Stick them in the same place. I'm hiding it in a very unusual way.
Ooh, now this is interesting.
Are you telling me that you know where the body's been for all this time, Mr. Edgeworth? It's not such a big leap if you think about what Miss Bound has told us already. Let's just say it wasn't flavored ice that she removed from Mr. Frost's room back then. Very well, if you're confident in this claim, let's put it to the test. Tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, where exactly was Mr. Frost's body hidden? That one statue is real covered up.
Take that!
A photograph of Mr. Frost's works. And of the victim's body, Your Honor. You will have to forgive me, but I don't see what you mean. Where exactly in this photograph is Mr. Frost's body? The victim's body is hiding right here.
Take that!
The Gemini sculpture. Yes, it may look like a sculpture at first glance, but it is in fact Mr. Frost's corpse.
Oh, surely you can't be serious.
I don't see anything in the photograph to support such a wild claim.
Objection!
That's because a certain piece of evidence was used to hide the body in plain sight.
And what piece of evidence might that be?
The court demands that you present what was used to conceal the body. There should be evidence now that they can do a proper autopsy of it having been frozen. Like, that's gonna make ice. It's gonna mess things up.
One of the cloths from the autumn wing. From in the autumn wing. Yes, when it's made to glow in just the right way, it's so visually convincing you might mistake it for ice. Isn't that right, Miss Scone?
Oh, yes, dear, but you can make it look like just about anything, really, even blazing fire. And the right shade of blue would make it look like ice, yes, exactly like it, in fact.
Overruled.
Is it not the case that a certain special device is needed to generate these colors, right?
Though it says not right.
Is it not the case that a certain special device is needed to generate these colors, though?
Objection!
If you would care to take another look at the photograph in the winter wing, Your Honor, you'll notice there is a small box connected at the bottom of the Gemini display case.
That's
one of the very light-emitting devices in question. Detective Gumshoe even confirmed its presence. In fact, this particular device went missing 18 years ago. Back then, it was no doubt firmly connected to the cloth inside the display case, which means Miss Bound had no choice but to take it with her when she removed the sculpture. So you see, this cloth and the light-emitting device were being used to create the illusion that Mr. Frost's body was in fact a statue carved from ice.
no. This can't be.
Wait, so you're telling me that when we took that photo of us in the winter wing...
Yes, we were standing right in front of the body. But the body and the cloth were both recovered from the fountain. Why were they found in there if the body was supposed to be in the winter wing disguised as a sculpture?
Objection!
Because there would have been no mystery as to how the body had been hidden if we found it as is. Miss Bound needed to remove Mr. Frost from the winter wing in order to throw us off the scent.
Overruled.
Ridiculous. I don't recall her sneaking around behind our backs to throw a body in the fountain.
No, and she didn't need to, because she had another method at her disposal. Her trusty lift cart. The same cart that proved so useful in executing her original theft. I believe she wheeled the body into one of the other wings and floated it downstream the fountain. The frozen body, being quite solid, probably got stuck somewhere along the way, which is why only the cloth appeared at first. The cloth Miss Scone discovered.
And then, the body followed afterwards, once it had thawed enough. It's an ingenious theory, Mr. Edgeworth. But, can you prove that it was me? It seems a little unfair to expect me to accept your accusations without proof, don't you think?
What about an eyewitness? Do you think someone might have spotted her while she was moving the body?
As a matter of fact, I do. And the contradiction in the piece of evidence I was provided shed light on exactly how Miss Bound moved the body as well.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any evidence to support your allegation?
Of course. I have a piece of very compelling proof right here.
Then please present it to the court. What evidence do you have that proves Miss Bound acted as you claim?
Like this. That seems like it probably is it.
Take that!
More drawings. And is that me?
Yes, Mr. Butts drew sketches of people as they passed from the fountain room. But what I'm interested in is the cart we can see here.
Miss Bound's serving cart? What about it?
You don't see it. She's using the same trick she used 18 years ago. Ergo, we know that Miss Bound was busy moving Mr. Frost's body when this picture was being drawn.
What? If I may, I don't see Mr. Frost's body anywhere in that sketch. All I see is a picture of me delivering chocolates to everyone.
Really? Then allow me to direct your attention to the color of the tablecloth, Miss Bound. I'd originally thought that Mr. Butts had made an error, but he assured me that couldn't possibly be the case.
This tablecloth appears to be light blue.
Yes, a shade of tablecloth that Miss Bound doesn't seem to own. The cloth only appears to be light blue due to the body hiding just underneath.
But the shape of the card is perfectly rectangular, just as one would expect. Surely it would be immediately obvious if the tablecloth was being draped directly over the body.
Objection!
Not if the body had been placed inside one of the hollow zodiac blocks in the winter wing. Place one of those on the lift cart and it'd easily pass muster as a regular serving cart, wouldn't you agree?
Goddess of justice!
Miss Bound, surely now you must admit that it was you who moved the body, just as you did 18 years ago.
I didn't expect you to deduce all that from a single simple sketch. But that sketch alone isn't really enough to prove your theory, is it?
You needn't worry on that front. My case doesn't rest solely on Mr. Butt's artwork. Once you had disposed of the body, your serving cart became a simple lift cart once more, which is exactly what we discovered here in the fountain room. And without a serving cart, you would find some place to put your chocolates.
My chocolates? The ones I was handing out.
As we saw in the sketch, you had originally placed them on top of the cart. But the chocolates you gave us came from your pocket.
Oh yeah, mine was half melted. It was still super sweet and tasty though.
Why did you suddenly feel the need to put the chocolates in your pocket, Miss Bound?
It
was because you no longer had a serving cart to put them on. That's why.
One moment, please. You have explained what Miss Bound did with the chocolates and the lift cart. But what about the tablecloth? Where did it go?
Indeed, just asking the chocolates in her pocket was not the only solution she could think of. I doubt Miss Bound had time to dispose of an entire tablecloth.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you have an answer for me?
Miss Bound didn't hide or dispose of the tablecloth, Your Honor. In fact, it's right here in front of us.
Perhaps you would care to enlighten us?
Where exactly is the tablecloth Miss Bound used to hide the body? She could have it on her. I mean, she's got a big dress. She probably could, like, fold it in half and tie it around her waist under the dress or something. Would have been found in the fountain. Miss Bound has the tablecloth on her person, and in plain view, in fact. Oh, wait. Oh yeah, because she doesn't have like an apron in this picture, does she? She normally does, I think. Oh, it's down there, but whatever.
In plain view? No, surely you don't mean...
Miss Bound, it's a cloth around your waist, isn't it? And given that the zodiac blocks weren't kept in glass cases, that cloth would have been in direct contact with the ice. All we would need to do is confirm my theory is to test the cloth for traces of the sugar used in Mr. Frost's work. The game is up, Miss Bound. It's time to come clean. You won't need to test the tablecloth. Everything you said is true. I stole Alicia's infesticide ultra, and I moved Mr. Frost's body. It was me. It was all me. Alicia, I'm so sorry. Last week, I went into your bag and I took it. And then, I put it in his pocket, hoping to make it look like he had tried to do it himself, to do himself in. I also made sure to leave no fingerprints but yours in case the police suspected foul play.
Judy, you... Oh gosh.
Judes, why? Are we supposed to be all on the same side? All fighting together to free Samson?
We were, but I couldn't afford to get arrested. Not yet. Not until I'd finally proven that Samson is innocent. I always planned to give myself up in the end, I swear. I know it's easy to say that now, but...
Why do it this way, though? It's not like you.
I'm sorry, Mr. Fender. I've caused you so much trouble. I've been the guilty party all along, ever since that day 18 years ago.
Are you trying to tell us the true culprit in the IS-7 incident was you?
I committed a terrible crime. I took those sculptures and I stole them for purely selfish reasons. The moment Mr. Frost died, they became more than mere entries in a confectionery contest. They became the final works of Samson's favorite artist. I couldn't allow them to just melt away, not before he came home. That meant I couldn't let anybody near them, not even the police. So I hid them. I knew it was wrong, but I just had to. I put them in the cold storage room for safekeeping. But what I had actually done was far worse than anything I could have possibly imagined. Because who would have thought that Mr. Frost's body itself was posing as one of the sculptures?
So she didn't know about the body when she stole the sculptures?
And then who put it in there? You got the picture.
You got the picture of when it was in the pirate ship thing. You called the police. You decided to get the statues. And then at some point, by the time you did that, someone had put his body and switched it with the statue. How? Especially at that point, it wouldn't have been frozen into the right position. I don't think rigor mortis would have been in the right position, even if it had set in, which it shouldn't have that intensely by that point, probably. I'm not sure quite the speed of that. That also varies on temperature. The rooms were all pretty cold to keep their sugar stuff done. Not sure. So she didn't know about the body when she saw the sculptures.
Samson is a kind man, a saint. He could never kill anybody, never. And yet, because of what I did, the police never found Mr. Frost's body. And Samson was found guilty. After all he'd done for me, he was my family. The only family I've ever had. He was the most important person in the entire world to me, and I...
Judes.
After his conviction, I was forced out of our home. I was finally able to return only a few days ago, and when I did, I went to this cold storage room to check up on the sculptures, and that's when I saw it. Mr. Frost's body. It had been there the whole time. Of course, by that point, the statute of limitations had expired. So I did what I did today. Because it was the only way I could think of to make things right. Seems I misunderstood her intentions. Everything she's done really has all been for Mr. Tangaroa's sake.
Hey, what are you thinking about, Mr. Edgeworth?
Something that's been puzzling me. Why did Miss Bound use poison gas? Why not a more reliable method? And why disguise the autumn wing as the winter wing? The only reason I can think of is to confuse someone who was here 18 years ago.
Yeah, I wonder what she had in mind.
Sounds like she thinks that guy did it and wanted to kill him since he can't be arrested for it now.
If she was trying to prove that Mr. Tangaroa is innocent, Miss Bound's ultimate goal must be to... She'd been trying to discover the identity of the true culprit. Miss Bound, your ultimate aim was to see Mr. Tangaroa cleared of all charges, correct? And to that end, you had to expose the real killer and have the police find the body from 18 years ago. Is my understanding of your intentions correct? Exhibiting the sculptures was sure to force the killer to return to the crime scene. After all, they were the only person apart from you who knew the body was hidden in the icework.
So they would have freaked out, thinking the body was about to be discovered and come running, yeah.
Exactly. But Miss Bound ran the risk that the killer might successfully cover their tracks this time. In the worst case scenario, they might even have been able to remove Mr. Frost's body from the scene. So how could she lure the true killer into revealing themselves without putting vital evidence at risk?
Oh, I see what you're getting at. You're saying that's why the autumn wing was all winter wingy.
I am. You were betting on one thing, Miss Bound, weren't you? That whoever opened the Pisces case, you had so carefully disguised as the Gemini case, would be the real perpetrator of the IS-7 incident.
No. But that would mean the real killer was...
Overruled.
Enough. Not another word. Do you realize the implications of what you are saying, Mr. Edgeworth? Be prepared to stand behind the accusation you are clearly about to make.
Miss Bound set a trap for Mr. Frost's killer, meaning that whoever found themselves caught in that trap is highly likely to be the guilty party. But I lack the evidence to support such an accusation. To accuse someone without any evidence is not to be done lightly. So, should I really go ahead and make my accusation and name Mr. Frost's killer nonetheless?
That's not what I meant to do. That's fine. Just trying to adjust my seating. We're going to have to at some point. Plus there's no pop-up of health, so I guess the decision you make here ultimately isn't important.
My ultimate goal is to see the truth exposed. And to do that, I need to seize the moment. Yes, Judge Gavel, I am prepared to stand behind my accusation. I know exactly who is to blame for the IS-7 incident.
Take that!
Mr. Cousteau, the victim of the poison gas attack is the perpetrator behind the IS-7 incident. Gusty!
Mr. Cousteau, Miss Bound, as we have established, you knew
You knew the opening of the gallery would lure in the real culprit. And you set up the poison gas trap in order to catch them. Do you dispute the facts thus far?
You're a very impressive man, Mr. Edgeworth. Just like your father. And of course, you're absolutely right.
And perhaps you could tell us exactly what happened in your own words.
Of course, I have nothing to hide anymore. So, I might as well tell you everything. As you said, I set a trap here in the gallery to try and catch Mr. Frost's killer. Before we opened, I made sure that the door to the Autumn Wing was the only one that was unlocked. When opening time came, I went around to unlock the doors of the various rooms, and found that the Autumn Wing had been locked from the inside. The killer is on the other side of the door. The thought, well, it frightened me.
And then she simply walked away, leaving him to fall victim to her poison gas trap.
When I heard that Mr. Gusteau was being treated for gas inhalation, that's when I knew he was the murderer. All that was left was for the police to find Mr. Frost's body, and then Samson would finally be proven innocent. At least, that was my plan.
Dude, why didn't you tell me? You know I'm always here for you, right? We could have found another way. It didn't have to be like this.
Thank you, Mr. Fender. You've been so very kind to me all these years. But I'm the one who created this mess, so it was up to me to try and clean it up. I didn't care what it took, as long as I could get Samson out of that awful place.
Judy.
18 years ago, the police managed to cover up the fact that Mr. Frost's body had gone missing. If I went to them now and said it had reappeared, I was afraid they might have tried to cover things up again. So I worked to set off a very public incident here in the gallery, in front of as many witnesses as possible.
I'm so sorry, Judy. You, Samson, Gregory, I'd let you all down. And, this can't be easy for him.
No, I'm the one who should be apologizing. Mr. Edgeworth, Mr. Fender, I hope one day you can forgive me. Whatever punishment I have to face, I'm ready to accept it. But please, if I may ask one thing of you, it's that you simply must clear Samson's name.
The way the truth of these past 18 years had come to light was unexpected, to say the least. And yet, it had only set us down a path towards an even more shocking end. Be continued. Well, let's go then. April 2nd, 3:11 a.m. p.m. rather. Zodiac Hall, Fountain Room. Eastbound. Are you feeling a little calmer now?
Yes.
Good. Then allow me to get to the point. Regardless of your intentions, you broke the law.
Yes, I understand.
Nevertheless, I understand that you did what you did in order to prove Mr. Tongado's innocence. Therefore, if the real culprit really is someone else, then we have a duty to re-investigate the case.
Overruled.
There is nothing to suggest that anything nefarious took place in the official IS-7 incident records. And right now, there's nothing to suggest that we should take Miss Bound at her word either. So our first order of business should be to arrest the culprit of the case before us, Miss Bound herself.
Objection!
Official records cannot always be trusted, Judge Gambit. Especially since there are those prosecutors who would think nothing of twisting the facts.
Overruled.
Are you suggesting that the committee at the time overlooked just such a prosecutor?
That's for you and your people to figure out. However, it is a fact that the autopsy report was faked, seeing as Mr. Frost's body was only found just now.
There really is something of Mr. Von Karma in you, Mr. Edgeworth.
How so exactly?
Continually defying the will of the committee and bending the truth to fit your needs. That's how. Perhaps it is time you understand how the committee sees this case.
The committee's view.
The committee is willing to accept that Mr. Von Karma falsified Mr. Frost's autopsy report. Even still, Mr. Von Karma only managed to have Mr. Tangaroa convicted as an accomplice. I personally have come to believe that the real culprit behind the IS-7 incident is Miss Bound. Her plan to poison and kill Mr. Gusteau today was her attempt to frame him for Mr. Frost's murder.
And this is how the committee sees things, is it?
It is. As always, I act solely in the service of law and order.
Sounds to me like all she's doing is acting in service of the committee and covering up the truth. And if I can't change her mind, there will be no saving Mr. Tangaroa or Miss Bound.
Hold it!
If you accept that Mr. Von Karma falsified the report, then why won't you reinvestigate the case?
Because the goddess of justice is never wrong. Her verdict remains true despite Mr. Von Karma.
Despite blatant evidence tampering, you sure your precious goddess is into that? Manipulations, you say. Almost makes you think the committee might have other reasons for not wanting this looked into again.
Further investigation is simply unnecessary since the goddess of justice has already spoken.
Is that right?
Even still, Mr. Von Karma only managed to have Mr. Tangaroa convicted as an accomplice.
Hold it!
I believe it was a confession that sealed Mr. Tangaroa's fate in the end. A confession secured by Mr. Von Karma, which should surely cast doubt on the final verdict itself.
Overruled!
Samson Tangaroa confessed to the initial investigating officer, one Detective Ian Seidman. The official records state that it was his interrogations that led to the conviction. Therefore, all I can say to you is the goddess of justice has already spoken.
Unbelievable! She just won't budge at all. Are these committee guys really that big a deal?
In many ways, they are Prosecutor's worst nightmare.
So kinda like how the police are to a great thief, huh?
Funny, you don't seem to have a problem working with the police when it suits you, though.
I personally have come to believe that the real culprit behind the IS-7 incident is Miss Bound.
Hold it!
Are you suggesting that Mr. Tangaroa and Miss Bound killed Mr. Frost together?
Why not? You could even imagine they split their roles as thus. Mr. Tangaroa could have been the one to commit the act itself, while Miss Bound was to remove the body. What the thought that we could ever kill Mr. Frost?
You stole his corpse and hid it for 18 years. Is it really so surprising that you might be considered a suspect? Miss Bound has freely confessed to all her crimes. Now is not the time to speculate about what else she might have done in the past. So considered a suspect.
Very well, then let us pass judgment on what we know she did in the present.
Her plan to poison and kill Mr. Gusteau today was her attempt to frame him for Mr. Frost's murder.
Hold it!
Why would Miss Bound have chosen to frame Mr. Gusteau for the murder?
No doubt because he suspected her of being the real culprit. He may have entered when he thought the winter. He may have entered what he thought was the Winter Wing, simply to see if the Gemini statue was genuine. Little did he know that he would be greeted by a trap designed to silence him. A trap that nearly worked.
Objection!
Do you have any evidence to support that line of reasoning?
Unfortunately, Mr. Cousteau remains in critical condition. It will be difficult to prove anything until he regains consciousness. In other words, there's little we can do for now. On the contrary, there is plenty we can do. You still have not grasped the situation, have you? Allow me to spell it out for you. We have all the evidence we need to explain both the IS-7 incident and the poison gas attack.
Hold it!
All the evidence you need. In the matter of the IS-7 incident, we have a body, a murder weapon, and 2 suspects. As for the poison gas attack, we have the sources of the 2 chemicals and Miss Bound's confession. And as for you, Mr. Edgeworth, we also have enough evidence to see that you yourself will have to answer to the committee in a formal hearing.
Whoa, that doesn't sound good.
Don't worry, Malzerino. If nothing else, you're always more than welcome at Edgeworth and go.
Your Honor, I'd greatly appreciate it if we could stay focused on the matter at hand. Of course. Now where was I? We have therefore determined there is no need to investigate either case any further.
Hold it!
You really mean to assert that there are no loose ends left to investigate? None at all? All of the evidence has been examined at length, and there's nothing more to be learned from them. Therefore, I see no need to further prolong this trial. This court finds the defendant is duty. Your Honor, I'm certain I'm certain there's something that still needs to be examined. The hammer is about to fall, Mr. Edgeworth. Only hard evidence can stop it now. Present what you think requires further deliberation now, assuming there really is anything left, that is. This isn't over yet. Not by a long shot. There's still one thing we don't have an answer to. And it's up to me to point it out to Judge Gravel.
So what do we need to point out? Let's see. Limitations expired. Detention. Confession. This all looks fine. We don't need that. That's not it. Let's see. And that's just saying that it's the same. Not really anything to look at on this. Look at the part. To think this was disguised as a serving cart and used to transport the body.
Don't forget the body was inside a hollow ice block. At least now we know why the platform was wet.
I guess that doesn't matter. Nice evidence and the poison gas. All the evidence we need. Remarks left by someone in Mr. Tagaro's room, no accompanying prints. That's not super helpful. What am I doing here? All the evidence we need to explain the IS-7 incident and the poison gas attack. Is that true? Ubiquium is just in whatever. We know how it was transported. We know how she got the poison. Poison stuff's all sorted. It's the IS-7 incident we need to sort out. There's issues with the case file. Affectionary contest and his arrest. Convicted as an accomplice based on his confession. Right. Special notation expired. Autopsy report. What am I looking for? It needs to be about the previous incident, because right now... there's not really anything in here. Look. Chocolate. Okay, what am I missing here? We need one.
Hold it!
All the evidence you need. We have body, murder weapon, 2 suspects. We have sources of the 2 chemicals and the confession. As for you, also we want to do that. Focus on the matter at hand. No need to investigate either case any further. It's a piece of evidence we need to look into further. Do they pursue each other? You don't care. Do you care to revise your testimony at all, Judge Cavella? No. Why? Do you believe there's something wrong with it? Well... no, nothing seems out of place. And perhaps you could refrain from insinuating otherwise. Well, that blew up in my face. What do you want? That doesn't help. You didn't care about the photo.
Objection!
This was never looked into. You don't care. I didn't ask for another save, I did this. I need to further examine a piece of evidence that needs examined further. we have here checks out. I really need that. Don't need to look at chocolate. There's not really anything else to be seen in this thing. We know that. We looked at that. Wasn't that. Here's the murder weapon. We have it. I'm sure it was looked at plenty. And the statute of limitations expired on charging her for that, so if you want, so there's not much to be done about it, but that's not helpful. Look at my file. You don't care about my file.
Hold it!
What do you mean? Need to assert no loose ends. Evidence has been examined at length. Nothing will be learned from them. Therefore, no need to further prolong the trial.
Objection!
There's something that still needs to be examined. Hard evidence can stop it. Something that still needs to be examined. It's not the blowtorch. We've looked at this plenty, I think. Stock shade of blue. Being around such a calming color from time to time might just do me some good.
It's also the right color for sneaking around in the dead of night. But I'd need something a lot brighter if I wanted to make a big splashy entrance.
You can do both with this cloth through the power of buttons, though. You can do both with this cloth through the power of buttons, though.
Oh yeah, in that case I'll take 5.
Box itself. These must be the switches that change the color of the cloth. Let's see if they work. Oh, the cloth has certainly changed color. Blue now. This cloth went missing at the time of the IS-7 incident, only to be found 18 years later, floating in the Zodiac Hall fountain.
And there was another one that was all lit up and draped around the Pisces statue, right?
Since these cloths may have a connection to both cases, past and present. I really think that's what we need. Everything here checks out. That makes sense. Some piece of evidence requires further deliberation. Isn't over yet, not by a long shot. One thing we don't have an answer to. It's up to me to point it out to Judge DeBell. Okay. What are the explanations for the things we have? This is the case file, in general. Just in general. Rock salt lamp, prosecutor, defense attorney, whatever. Statute of limitations expired 3 years ago. Confectioner contest organizer. Hunter's arrest. Taste disorder. Known as Paul Leak, under which name he's a renowned sculptor. Contested in the confectionery contest. All this makes sense. The one thing that I can think of is that Edgeworth's thing initially said, with his information he had, said that he had been convicted as the culprit rather than just the accomplice, but I don't see anything that's mentioning that around. This is just a pamphlet. It's not particularly useful now. Nothing in here seems out of place. We have the 2 statues. One of them is a dead body, but whatever. A blowtorch, we know what that was about. It was just left in there and then it was used to melt the thing, which released the gas. We know what this is for. Although there were 2 of them, but I guess since there was a whole thing, the other ones might have just gotten left there. Who knows? Macy's statue. Alright, the red came off the top and it fell onto the statue, made it look weird, whatever. Understandable. No strings there either. We know that. Nothing to be said about that. The book. Oh no, we know it exists. It mentioned the poison gas, but whatever. Nothing odd about it at this point. No accompanying prints. I don't know what this was about. This would have been whoever took the body into there. But I think I tried presenting it and no one cared. That's just the murder weapon. It was one of the lamps that was confiscated. How would the murderer have gotten it? That doesn't help us because Miss Bound definitely could have gotten it. So there's no point showing it because that's a simple enough explanation. We don't have it here to look at closer at all. Photo, I tried showing that. It was like, hey, these people had a connection. Is that something? It's not. Teapot. We looked at the teapot. It's fine and normal. Lift cart. We know what the lift cart was for. It was used to move things. How did the body get in there? In the first place? Is that what we need to figure out? How it got into the statue area? Maybe, but not sure how we could point out that sort of thing. He moved it. He walked in to the room after the body was discovered. I believe he removed the photograph we have here at that time. and would have seen that the statues were gone. Didn't say anything. Because he wanted the body hidden for some reason. So there's something to the body that benefits from it being hidden, and also the blood that was removed.
Objection!
You don't care about this. What is the point here? What are we getting at? There's one piece of evidence that needs shown. It doesn't go into any of these other dialogue things, does it? Willing to report. Right, he falsified the autopsy report, willing to accept that. Fair enough. Only managed to have Mr. Tonkadoa convicted as an accomplice. I had a record that said otherwise, but it was... something was wrong with it. But I don't have anything that says that at this point in time. That thing's gone. It might just be something else. The real culprit behind the I-7 incident is Miss Bound. Planned to poison kill Mr. Gusto was her attempt to frame him for the murder. All the evidence we need to explain both the IS-7 incident and the poison gas attack. Poison gas attack we've covered well enough. That's handled. The IS-7 incident, though, is where the problem lies.
Objection!
Can you please... Where's that even trying to load to? I've been here for a bit. What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? We have one piece of evidence you need to see. One piece of evidence that needs to be examined in more detail. It's not the blowtorch. That doesn't make sense. That has been explained. It must be something from later, right? I don't think we need the statute of limitations to answer anything. That doesn't help anything. Chocolates, handmade. What we're getting at is that your committee also wants to keep whatever happened under wraps. Whatever. Okay, what do we need here? Oh my goodness. Okay, focus. We have... The cart has been explained. It all makes sense. What we need to do is figure out how the body got in there. How did it get there? How did it get there? No. We need to that's what I think. Maybe. We need to figure out how the body got to look like a statue. Why? Why is it there? Why was it put there?
Objection!
Please. Okay, what is the problem? What is the problem here? The problem is, how did the body get into the statue to look like a statue instead of being anywhere normal? Why was it moved? What benefit would that have done? Would that have had? It was hidden, but it had already been found at that point. Remembering the order of events correctly? I don't have any way to check. Okay. One more thing to look at. What needs to be looked at more closely? I'm going to lose my mind. I have no idea what it wants from me. What do you want? Something needs to be looked at in more detail. You know this. That's what it's told us. We need to... We've looked at everything. The only thing I can think of to point out, I don't know where to point it out from. Shoot. Can we look at the corpse? It's sort of a problem.
Hold it!
I'll sign the report. Why not investigate?
Objection!
Evidence tampering. And other reasons for not wanting this looked into again. Sometimes I was convicted of an accomplice.
Hold it!
Confession.
Overruled!
Confess to the initial investigating officer. Interrogations. Therefore. Certain incident is misbound. Find a poison, frame him. All the evidence we need to explain both the IS-7 incident and the poison gas attack. Sugar, salt, blood, sugar found in pale liquid 18 years ago. Also seems to be a match. What am I missing here?
Objection!
Ah. I guess we do have to look at the salt in the liar. I'm afraid there is still one question concerning the IS-7 incident that remains unanswered, Your Honor. Would you mind taking a look at this? What is it? Our test results carried out on the liquid at the bottom of the Gemini case in the Winter Wing. As you can see, traces of blood were detected. The question is, whose? Until that question is answered, I hardly think you can claim to have all the evidence. There was blood in the Gemini case. Why did I not hear about this from Eustace? Because Detective Gumshoe informed me of the results directly. I was planning to tell Mr. Winter about it myself, of course.
Overruled.
You kept this to yourself until now, despite having no jurisdiction here whatsoever. Mark my words, the committee will hear all about what you have done here today. As ever, my interest is in the truth, and if mistakes were made in the past, they must be rectified. If you must report me to the committee, then so be it. But in return, we must be allowed to investigate this case to the very end. That is not my decision to make. You will need to discuss it with Eustace. Yes, who's back, losers? And with good news, too! Oh, you're up and walking, too? It was a close call for a minute there, but Carmelo Gusto is alive. Gusto. He made it. You're the one who found me. Yep. Long time no see, Gusto. You're the attorney's assistant. You've grown. You have an assistant of your own now? Assistant? No, I'm... He hasn't gotten the gig just yet. This is Gregory Edgeworth's son. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth, at your service. Fate moves in mysterious ways. I'm in your debt. If you hadn't found me in time, I wouldn't be here. Thank you. Oh, you're very welcome. After all, if you hadn't lived, I wouldn't be able to ask you what really happened 18 years ago. What are you talking about? We figured out quite a bit while you were out cold, including the fact that you were probably the guy who offed poor Artie Frost. What? Is that true? Miss Bound set up a very elaborate trap to catch Mr. Frost's murderer. A trap that involved rigging the Pisces case with poison gas. Perhaps in light of that fact, you could tell us in your own words what happened back then? Or perhaps you'd rather exercise your right to remain silent? Oh, it's not that. Gusto here's a fan of the old meditation. You know, Om and all that jazz.
Wow, sleeping while standing seems pretty cool. That's one heck of a talent.
Except there's no sleeping involved in Meditation Cave. Hey, Gusto, pal, how about you snap out of it and tell us what went down way back when? Was caught in the girl's trap, so I must be the killer. Is this your idea of a joke? I'm the victim here.
Indeed you are, Mr. Cousteau, and there's no evidence that you have done anything wrong yet. Mr. Edgeworth and Mr. Fender are merely speculating. Rest assured they have no authority here, and that you may pay them no heed.
Somebody here seems to be on my side.
Judge Verity Gavel, it's a pleasure, Mr. Cousteau. I will assist you in any way that you may require. Perhaps you could begin by explaining what actually happened 18 years ago to Mr. Edgeworth.
Fine. You want me to prove I'm innocent, Mr. Prosecutor? I'd be happy to.
Objection!
So this is how you mean to play it, Judge Gavel? You're hoping Mr. Gusto will help you hide what happened instead of trying to correct the record.
I believe only in the infallible judgment of the Goddess of Justice.
Except it is us humans who make the actual judgment calls in a court of law. And so long as there are those who would use the law to their advantage, our rulings are fallible indeed. If you would use your position to further obscure the truth, then neither she nor I will forgive you.
We shall see about that.
You advise, Judge Gravel.
It would seem that you are under suspicion because it was you who triggered the poison gas. Specifically by opening the Pisces case's lid. Would you be so kind as to share why with us?
Understood. Came to see Frost sculptures. Simple as that. Made a mistake with the opening times and arrived half an hour early. Miss Bound, was there no one at the reception desk at around that time?
I left the main entrance unguarded and unlocked just in case the killer made an appearance. I was also busy making preparations elsewhere, all the way up until the gallery's opening. So no, there was no one here on the first floor then. But I did make sure that all the wings were locked up tight, well, all except the autumn wing, that is.
I see. She did all that just to steer the culprit into the autumn wing, which is precisely where Mr. Gusto went.
Sneaking into a building's pretty suspicious, however you slice it.
Silence in the courtroom. I will permit no objections or interventions unless there is some evidence that the witness is lying.
The courtroom? You know this is an art gallery, right?
Mr. Gusto, if you could please continue by explaining why you opened the Pisces case.
I wanted to see Frost's work up close. I went up to the Gemini, sorry, I guess it was supposed to be the Pisces statue, and saw that the lid was frozen on tight, so I grabbed a blowtorch from nearby and tried to open it. When I finally got it open, gas came pouring out. Fascinating. This is the sort of flawless testimony attorneys can only dream of.
Yeah, the everything sounds like a lie kind.
I am none too satisfied with Mr. Gusto's explanation myself. Alas, there is no evidence to refute it.
Come on, there must be something.
It's Bound's story you should be questioning, not mine. I'm not the one who set up the gas trap. She could have killed anybody with that thing.
Objection!
She turned on the sprinklers as soon as the gas was released. She knew exactly what she was doing. She was gunning for the killer and nobody else. That killer being you, pal. You believe that self-confessed criminal. Miss Pound is far from blameless in this affair, and she will have to pay for her crimes. But so will Mr. Frost's killer. You seem determined to pin Frost's murder on me. I had no reason to kill him. And you have no evidence to prove otherwise.
Can we really not prove that he's the killer, Mr. Edgeworth?
Mr. Cousteau fell victim to the poison gas. That much is indisputable. Yet, no matter how suspicious his actions in the present may seem, they prove nothing about the past.
Yeah, but then what about you, Mr. Fender? There must be something we can do.
You're right. We may not have evidence, but we have plenty of intel. Let's see now. If Cousteau killed Frost, he must have had a reason. He claims not to have a motive, but that can't really be true, can it? Cousteau insists he had no motive to kill, no reason to kill Artie Frost, but if he did it, he has one. How many people commit murder just for fun? In fact, your old man had a little back and forth with Von Karma about a probable motive too, remember? How can you possibly say that with any certainty? If their relationship had broken down for some reason. That could very well have been the motive behind this murder. Von Karma wouldn't let us talk to Cousteau back then, but we can now. If we can put the pieces together, I think the picture we've been looking for might just emerge. Yes, I think you might be right. We need to think back over everything we know about the IS-7 incident. Especially the questions that never got answered. And the finger marks. You the one wearing the gloves. Miss Scone denied that the finger marks on the frame were hers. What if they were Mr. Cousteau's? Perhaps he had wanted to take a look through the Ultimate Cookbook for himself.
So he asked me to go put in a new cartridge. Seemed to think there should have been more shots left than there were.
In other words, the film ran out sooner than expected.
Yes, the number of shots he took didn't line up with the number of shots remaining. But he thought maybe he'd just lost track somewhere along the way.
My father noticed these things for a reason. I just need to piece them together correctly. In the absence of evidence, it's the only way to the truth. Take pictures of the cookbook. Photographing the cookbook's contents would be the perfect way to steal its secrets undetected. And what if Mr. Cousteau did just that? What if he used Mr. Tongado's camera to photograph the book?
It'd be the perfect crime! So much better than stealing it and getting chased by the cops.
A sneaky snapshot or 20, huh? That could work. The only question is, when would he have done it? Good question. What about during afternoon tea? Didn't Alicia say that Cousteau and Frost had missed out on the little tea party they had? Which brings me to the next question. When do we know for certain that Mr. Frost was still alive? Then, after the contest began, nobody saw hide nor hair of Frost as he had secluded himself in his room. The only person capable of entering his locked room was Tongaroa, possessing as he did the only key. Miss Scone, where were Mr. Tongaroa's work? Were Mr. Tongaroa's works the only ones you sampled?
No, dear, I couldn't help myself. When I'd finished my afternoon tea, I tiptoed over to Chillywink's room for a little taste too.
Mr. Frost had kept to himself inside his room after the contest had started. But he was gone by the time Miss Scone snuck into it to sample his work. Meaning there's a good chance he was murdered before the end of afternoon tea.
Not like that.
That doesn't add up. I'd better think again. Mr. Gusteau, you and Mr. Frost conspired to create works for the contest together, did you not? Huh. So you know my little secret. Mr. Fender was kind enough to inform me. Mr. Frost was in charge of the designs, while you were in charge of the flavor. Is that correct? Huh. What can I say? I still had a long way to travel on the road to becoming a master confectioner. But you only collaborated up to the semi-final. Something changed after that. We both wanted to show what we can do, show that we are better than Tangaroa.
Objection!
And why did you help Mr. Frost with his entry for the final? What grounds do you have to say that? Your own statement made to Mr. Von Karma 18 years ago. He's got a tattoo on the back of his hand, but it's not like moving when his hands are twitching. It's really weird. You told him that you had been working together right up until the day before the final. Mr. Frost's entry was carved entirely from blocks of flavored ice. Ice which would have needed at least a day to freeze, and whose flavors would therefore have already been prepared by Mr. Gusteau. Yes, which lines up perfectly with what Gusteau told me, that he helped Frost until the day before the final. In that case, why didn't Mr. Frost reciprocate and help Mr. Gusteau in return?
Objection!
I can hardly be expected to read the minds of the dead. So, why didn't Mr. Frost help you in return, I submit that your relationship broke down for some reason, and that became the basis of your motive for murder. That's not how it was. Sure, we stopped working together, but it was all perfectly friendly.
You stopped working together in a friendly way? Kinda hard to imagine, but okay.
Besides, how do you think I did it exactly? You think I just strolled into Tangaroa's room and killed Frost? I couldn't have killed the man while Tangaroa was in there working on his chocolate pieces, could I? As you see, it can't have been me. I wouldn't be so sure. There must be a window of time when Mr. Tangaroa wasn't in his room. If I can prove that, I can prove that Mr. Gusteau had the opportunity to kill Mr. Frost. We can be sure that Mr. Frost was alive until the beginning of afternoon tea, making tea time the only window in which Mr. Gusteau could have killed him.
Are you satisfied with Mr. Gusteau's story now, Mr. Edgeworth?
Sadly, I'm afraid I'm still rather unsatisfied. But things are finally starting to become clear, and the truth will soon come to light at last.
Do you mean to say you have uncovered new evidence?
Evidence? No. I was hoping I might convince Mr. Gusteau to open up with us, to open up to us about it instead.
Oh, is it mind games time again?
It is. Mr. Gusteau, I have a question for you. I said I have a question for you.
What is it?
You chose to make your entry for the final on your own.
I told you I wanted to test myself. I wanted to prove I was the best in the world.
Objection!
If that were the case, then surely you wouldn't have chosen to cheat in the first place. So tell me, Mr. Gusteau, why did you feel the need to team up with Mr. Frost? "18 years ago, Mr. Gusteau and Mr. Frost collaborated in the confectionery contest. But why did they work together, and why did they enter the contest in the first place? That's the information I need to get out of my opponent somehow." Mr. Gusteau seems to have a habit of pretending to be asleep when things aren't going his way. Let's start by focusing on why he chose to work with Mr. Frost. By my hand, now is the time to dig up the truth that it was buried all those years ago. Mr. Gusteau, what inspired you to collaborate with Mr. Frost?
We were acquaintances before we were contestants. He was interested in entering a contest, so we decided to sign up together.
And your decision to pair up with a sculptor had nothing to do with your lack of faith in your skills?
You don't know me. We joined forces because we wanted to make the most perfect creations possible, that's all.
I'll expose all your lies in the end, Mr. Gusteau. It's only a matter of time.
Sorry, I wanted to see if I could do an impression of you. Turns out it's easy.
He's happy to bide his time as well, it seems. I need to pick my words more wisely. I'll study my opponent's reactions and pick my own responses accordingly. Distance.
Frost's son and mine were in the same grades at school, so we got along pretty well too.
Oh, so you were just friends who happened to try for the title of world's greatest confectioner? Pretending to be asleep when the going gets tough won't work on me, I'm afraid. Mr. Frost was a sculptor, Mr. Gusteau. I doubt he cared much about winning a title for confectioners. In which case, he probably had a different motive for taking part in the contest, wouldn't you say?
Fine, it was me. I wanted that title. Frost was only in it for the prize, the ultimate cookbook.
I see. And since your objectives dovetailed so neatly, you decided to work together. Then, something happened. A breakdown in your relationship, perhaps? If so, I want to know why.
Mr. Prosecutor, still quite unwell after my brush with death. Pushed me too hard. And I'll be on my way back to the medical room.
No, wait.
We better wrap this up quickly. Already dangerously low on patience.
Mr. Gusteau is trying desperately to make his escape, but he's not going anywhere yet. Not as long as he's still keeping things from me. So let's figure out what he was really after next. There's no time to lose. Need to pick the right line of questioning and fast. You too had your eyes on something other than the title, didn't you? After all, I'm not sure the title of world's greatest confectioner even counts for that much. You're insulting the way of the confectioner. My goal, my only goal was to win that title. I didn't care about anything else. You have no idea how much it would have meant to me. Look, my sense of design may not have been up to snuff back then. You should see me now.
Oh, so you've improved.
You bet I have. I didn't do all the training and staying far for nothing. I looked up to Tanjiro, you know. Spent hours poring over the designs of his work. Even used to watch his show with my son.
Sounds to me like Mr. Tanjiro's work was especially influential in your early studies. And with his recipe book, you might even become best someday.
Ugh, maybe. The book was a real treasure, no doubt about that. Any confectioner would have wanted it.
I don't think they would have. It's not. It was a book of
Medical stuff.
You claim that your only goal was to win the title, yet you also seem to have had an interest in the contest's prize, the Ultimate Cookbook.
Ugh, the greatest collection of recipes by the world's greatest confectioner. I can't say I had absolutely no interest in it. It was explained at the start. Even I did. What exactly is so wrong with that?
Nothing, I suppose. Only that the book contained recipes for medicines, not desserts. Everyone who entered the contest supposedly knew that. I feel like I'm finally getting somewhere. Can't let him slip from my grasp now. Just need to stay calm and keep the pressure on. Next, let's find out why he wanted the cookbook. So your plan was to win the cookbook and use it to help you with your own creations?
What else? A book like that could have improved my craft tenfold.
You could have made a lot of money if you'd sold it.
I don't know much about what was actually in there. But it was worth more than money, I'll tell you that.
Come now, Mr. Gusteau. I think you know more about the Ultimate Cookbook than you claim.
They told us a little about it at the start of the contest.
And you know what kind of recipes it actually contained, don't you? And that they weren't dessert recipes at all.
I should bake something later. I really want something with pumpkin. I should make pumpkin cookies or something. I just can't find a good recipe that doesn't involve going and getting some other things that we don't quite have right now. At least it sound appealing. Like some oatmeal pumpkin cookies would sound nice, but we don't have enough oats. Maybe I can ask about picking some up. I see you did your homework. Fine, so you know what was really in there. Ultimate Cookbook, or the Angel's Cookbook, to give it its proper title. It's a collection of chemical formulas and ways to synthesize new medicines nobody has ever heard of.
So you did know that the cookbook actually contained recipes for medicines. This could be an important clue. Did you know how valuable the cookbook really was?
What kind of question is that? It's a collection of Tanjiro's recipes. There wasn't a confectioner in the world who wouldn't have wanted to get their hands on it.
Time to deploy my clue. Your designs may have improved thanks to your training in Zhengfa, but you clearly didn't do enough work on your skills of deception. You've already admitted that you knew the Ultimate Cookbook was a collection of recipes for medicines. Thereby making your interest not gastronomical, but pharmaceutical in nature.
You are a confectioner, Mr. Gusteau. You had no professional interest in revolutionary new medicines, which suggests that your interest must have been personal. I underestimated you. Fine, you're right. Winning the title wasn't the only reason I entered the contest. I needed one of the recipes in that book. It was for my son. He was sick. He was. Tell me more. It's none of your business. I've told you as much as you need to know. Looks rattled. But I can't let him off the hook. Let's find out what this mystery illness was. I've almost gotten to the bottom of this. I can feel it. Just a few more moves. Tell me a little more about your son. He was my pride and joy, my biggest fan. You entered the contest in order to help him. You clearly don't have children of your own. Any father would have done the same. Would have done anything to help him. Anything. You would come to see me here in the contest venue too, right up to the semi-final. Really? He didn't get in the way of your work. If you were trying to beat Samson Tangaroa, surely you didn't have time to look after a child. Yeah, well, I wanted to do what I could for him. He said he wanted to always be the first to try my creations. You said your son was sick, Mr. Gusteau, and yet he was able to come and join you for the contest. It wasn't that kind of illness. Nothing life-threatening anyway. This feels like it could be an important clue. So you needed the cookbook to cure your son. Yeah, nowadays you can get the medication you needed anywhere. Back then, that book was our only hope. That's why I didn't dare waste my time on fancy tea parties. I had to give it my all to my work. And what about Mr. Tangaroa's work? Surely that tea break gave you the perfect opportunity to go steal a glance at it. What makes you think I had the energy or time to care about what others had made? I think you made it abundantly clear how much interest you had in Mr. Tangaroa's work. What's more, if you were that determined to win the ultimate cookbook, I seriously doubt you would have passed up a chance to take a peek at your competitors' entries. I had plenty of chances throughout the contest to see and sample my rival's work, you know. Each time I did, nothing seemed to have any flavor. Must have been nerves or something. I think Mr. Gusteau tasted and had any flavor. It seems like it could be an important clue. Could you tell me the name of the disease your son suffered from? You're a real cold customer, Mr. Prosecutor. Isn't it enough that he was seriously ill? Why would you force me to tell you more? Time to deploy my clue. You've already shared with me that your son's illness wasn't life-threatening. So why are you so reluctant to share any further details? It may not have been life-threatening. That doesn't mean it hadn't been life-altering. I see. It must have been very hard on both of you. Of course it was. That was why I did everything I could to find a cure. We were desperate. He couldn't taste anything. Not even his favorite desserts. As I understand it, the Ultimate Cookbook contains the recipe for a very particular medication, one that Mr. Tangaroa used to cure himself of his own taste disorder. So he had it too. Two, you say? So your son has a taste disorder then? Am I correct? How did I let that slip? You've been asking me to believe that you needed to win the cookbook in order to cure your son. But was that really the case?
Of course it was. What do you say?
I'm saying that I'm not so sure that that's true based on everything you've told me. Time to employ my clue. Taste disorders are difficult to live with. It isn't easy not being able to enjoy your food. You should know. After all, you just told me you'd experienced something like that during the contest. You said that nothing you sampled had any flavor. Those were your words, correct? Which would seem to suggest that you were suffering from taste disorder. A confectioner without a sense of taste? Not exactly ideal. Are you sure it wasn't actually your own condition you were seeking a cure for, Mr. Gusteau?
Had enough of your speculations. I managed just fine in that contest. Made all my own entries, no problems.
Sorry, but I'm afraid you're contradicting your own testimony. You already admitted that you and Mr. Frost had worked together during the contest. It's too late to claim you did it all on your own now. You would have us believe that you are a man of principle, a dedicated student of the confectioner's art. Yet you abandoned those principles and conspired with Mr. Frost to rig the contest. All so you could cure your own taste disorder.
You got me, Mr. Prosecutor. As you said, my sense of taste was shot. My son's was fine. I kept it hidden for so long, 18 years, and nobody knew.
Sadly, you can lie to others, but you can't lie to me. Both Mr. Gusteau and Mr. Frost entered the contest hoping to obtain the ultimate cookbook, the medicine that would cure Mr. Gusteau's disorder, and the money it would bring in for Mr. Frost. Thus, an uneasy alliance was forged. And that, I believe, is checkmate. Yay.
I'll admit it, you're good. Never told anybody about this. You figured it all out anyway. It's true. 18 years ago, I developed Augusia. I don't know what that word is.
What's Agusha?
The taste disorder that makes it so you can't taste anything at all. Confectioner's worst nightmare.
Mr. Fender, is that what Mr. Tangaroa had as well?
Oh, the big man had what they call dissociated taste disorder. Basically, some things he could taste just fine, while others had no flavor at all. So we suffered too. Can't have been easy. Not when there wasn't any way to cure it on the market.
Which is why you needed Mr. Tangaroa's cookbook. You admit now that that was the real reason you entered the contest.
It's only one of the reasons. I wasn't lying when I said I wanted the title. When I put my mind to something, it gets done, and I won't lose to anybody. I may not have been able to taste it then, but I still knew my stuff was good enough to win.
Oh, so you went into the final thinking you stood a good chance of winning.
Ugh, of course.
What was it that Mr. Fender said? What was it that Fender said about what Mr. Tangaroa thought of Mr. Gusteau's creations?
Mr. Gusteau's creations were perfect balance, flavor, and design. He stepped through the semi-final. But disappointingly, his entry for the final was subpar on both counts.
You were told that your entry for the final was far from the prize-winning taste sensation you describe. What happened, Mr. Gusteau? What went wrong that day? Fine. If you want me to talk, I'll talk. But you're not going to like what I have to say. My entry for the final. Ross and I were working together right up through the semi-final. I handled the flavor, he did the designing. I wanted to face Tanjiro in the final on my own. No help, just me and my skills. I helped Frost with his entry, but mine I did alone. It didn't taste good in the final. That's on me. What can I say? I lack training. I guess we actually will be able to arrest him if he did it because he went off to Zhengfall for however long. And that's all there is to it. Happy now.
There don't seem to be any obvious contradictions in his testimony.
Yep, not that I thought it'd be easy to get anything real out of him. He's managed to not let slip what really happened for 18 years after all. Why don't you try pushing him a bit, Malzarito? See if you can't shake something loose.
I think I just might have to, Fender.
Hold it!
Frost was in charge of designing the work you both submitted while you handled the taste.
Yeah, he was a sculptor, craftsman. His sense of design was second to none. He was clueless about confectionery, which is where I came in. We each did what the other couldn't. Hey! And boy, did you not have an eye for aesthetics. Not even for the simple stuff. Ooh. How do you like me now? Looks much nicer.
The national symbol of Zhengfall.
Oh, yeah, it's a phoenix! That's awesome.
I'll say, pretty different to the stuff you were pumping out 18 years ago. The fruits of my training. Dedicated my whole life to my craft. Back then, we both needed each other's help, so we joined hands until the final. But I wanted to face Tanjiro in the final on my own. No help, just me and my skills.
Hold it!
You were serious about winning the title, then?
Of course, the art of confectionery is my life. Why wouldn't I have wanted to be crowned the greatest? But I still had a lot to learn back then. Guess it's no surprise my work wasn't up to scratch.
The title wasn't the only thing you wanted. It was the cookbook, too. And you wanted the book even more than you wanted the title. Isn't that right, Mr. Cousteau?
Overruled!
Mr. Edgeworth, you are badgering a witness who is still suffering the effects of today's attack. I cannot allow this harassment to continue.
I understand, Your Honor, but
Ignore him, Mr. Cousteau. You need not answer that vile prosecutor's question. But please do continue your testimony in your own time.
Help Frost with his entry, but mine I did alone.
Hold it!
so you're saying Mr. Frost didn't help you at all. But he'd helped you up until then, correct? It's a bit strange for him to stop so late in the contest, no?
Strange or not, it's the truth. Could be added his reasons too. I wouldn't know.
And if he's lying...
Ugh. If he's lying, I got... Oh.
Something bothering my throat.
If he's lying, it's gonna be a headache to prove. 18 years is a long time. Not unless that gizmo of yours has a built-in lie detector, okay?
If it did, I would have stolen the show from Mr. Edgeworth long before now.
Don't worry, Fender. I can tell when he's lying. No doohickeys assistance required. Please, Mr. Cousteau, continue your testimony.
Didn't taste good in the final, and that's on me. can I say? I lack training.
Hold it!
And yet, I heard that your creations prior to the final were scored highly for their flavor. So what went wrong? Was there some kind of cooking accident on that day?
No, nothing like that. It was, I told you I had a taste disorder. My sense of taste failed me. Simple as that.
When Mr. Frost's entry was complimented on its flavor, your sense of taste hadn't failed you then. Did something happen overnight?
I don't think he's going to spill any more beans, Mr. Edgeworth.
Perhaps I should ask him about something else. Did something change between the semi-final and the final, Mr. Bestow?
Not really. The only difference between the semi-final and the final was that Frost wasn't helping me.
Hold it!
So you really completed your final entry without Mr. Frost's help.
I may not have it. I may not have had his designs to lean on, but I knew I was still solid when it came to flavor. So the visuals were the only thing that changed between the semi-final and the final. You sure, gusty old pal. Gonna have to call you out on that one, I'm afraid. It wasn't just its looks that got a big thumbs down come judgment time. It got trashed on flavor, too.
Doesn't sound like much of a winner to me. Doesn't sound much like a winner to me.
That's what she said.
Despite his confidence, Mr. Bestow failed on flavor, too. The lack of Mr. Frost's assistance shouldn't have affected that. So was there some other difference? An 18-year-old mystery. And the key to unraveling it is finally in my grasp. I just need to remember everything Fender told me about what he and my father discovered.
I'm guessing the thing is somehow the salt and the sugar were switched. Or something. I'm not sure how I can point that out. Let's see what that other option
Hold it!
had, and maybe it'll be something I can do better. Maybe this one will.
You knew Mr. Frost from before the contest, correct?
Remembered, I see. The son of Frosts used to go to elementary school together.
Hold it!
Right. It was no coincidence that you both entered the contest, correct?
Yeah, I heard about it first. Then I told Frost. He would be interested. He's always short of cash for sculptures.
That's right. Mr. Frost was supposedly always in financial trouble, wasn't he?
The cookbook is really worth that much, huh?
I see that glint in your eye, kiddo. Don't get your great thieving hopes up. It was worth a lot back then. These days, you can find most of the stuff in there on any drugstore shelf.
Oh, bummer.
So literally every last contestant only ever had eyes for that cookbook. I see.
That doesn't help. Okay.
Hold it!
Put that one other back. Put that back on.
And then we need to point out that the
Taste was off. But, like, better. Point out why, maybe. The salt and add again? We have a salt layout, but nothing else really would seem like it would talk about that. salt problems, which is why it would taste like nothing instead of really unreasonably bad.
Objection!
That doesn't help.
This evidence will expose the truth at last.
Pathetic. Is that your idea of a joke?
It's not, but this evidence doesn't point to any kind of contradiction at all, does it?
I continue. Okay.
The difference in the flavor. What else do I have to point that out?
Oh, your kid didn't show up either.
Objection!
Oh, he was probably helping with the taste, huh? Give me a minute.
I can think of one significant difference between the semi-final and the final, Mr. Stowe. Your son. This is him in the photograph, correct? You told me he was here with you up through the semi-final.
He was. What of it?
What indeed. He was here with you until the semi-final, until he suddenly wasn't for the final. And just as suddenly, your work went from being lauded for its flavor to being lambasted for it. I don't think that's a coincidence, do you? He wasn't just spending quality time with his father. He was playing a much more pivotal role than that.
I just wanted him to see me work. I just wanted him to see me hard at work. To show I was trying my best for us. Who knows? Maybe it was him being here that helped me do so well in those early rounds.
He talks a good game, but nothing about this guy screams super dad at me. To me.
Indeed. Thankfully, we would only have to give such an idea credence if his story were true. After all, how much could the encouragement of one small boy affect the taste of a grown man's work? Mr. Stowe prided himself on the flavor of his creations, but then lost his sense of taste. He must have had a tough time maintaining his high standards after such a devastating loss. Unless... I'm sure your son was here to cheer you on, but that wasn't all he was here to do, was it?
You're a very suspicious man, Mr. Prosecutor. Well, why not try answering yourself for a change? What was an elementary school kid doing here other than to support his father?
Your son knew the taste of your work pretty well, I imagine, Mr. Gusteau?
He was my biggest fan. Of course he knew it.
In which case, he would have been a good judge of whether something tasted on brand, so to speak, no?
What are you implying?
You already told us that you were suffering from a taste disorder.
I'll admit it. You're good. I never told any of this, but you figured it all out anyway. It's true. 18 years ago, I developed alopecia.
Alopecia?
But I don't know.
No one knew about your condition. Indeed, I doubt Mr. Frost would have wanted to continue collaborating with you had he found out. After all, it was your job to make sure his creations tasted good. Therefore, your son wasn't just here to support you. He was helping you by taste testing your work.
Dang, now it all makes sense. Frost stuff tasted good because it really was finished the day before when the kid was still here. You have a vivid imagination, Mr. Prosecutor. Do you seriously think I trust a kid to tell me how to adjust the taste of my masterpieces? I have some pride, you know, even back then.
Did you now?
My designs may not have been much to write home about back then, but I always knew my work tasted better than anybody else's. You think I'd risk everything by putting my reputation in the hands of a child? This is just More speculation, that's all it is. In that case, I ask to speak with your son this instant. Let's see how much of your story he can corroborate. Sadly for you, my son is no longer my concern. What? As soon as I got my sense of taste back, I went straight to Zingfa to start my training. Cut off all ties with the kid for good.
What?
You abandoned your own child. And that ain't the half of it. No one knows where he is, even now. Cops have looked all over for him, but no dice. So, still think you can prove your asinine theory? I'd like to see you try. You think I care about anything besides confectionery? Think again. I've got my sense of taste back. What need do I have for a son?
Silence in the courtroom. While Mr. Gusteau's words and actions may demonstrate a certain lack of humanity on his part, the goddess of justice cannot judge him for that. Therefore, Mr. Edgeworth, I believe it is time for you to admit defeat.
Yeah, give it up. 18 years is a long time for anything to surface now, proof or otherwise.
Mr. Edgeworth, we have to do something. If we don't, the truth might be lost forever.
Where are you, Detective Gumshoe? Can't imagine whose blood it could possibly be, but I'll get it tested right away, sir. All the other blood came back like so much quicker. Why is this taking forever? I guess maybe because you don't have a thing to compare it to. That might help. Please do, Detective. That's the last piece of the puzzle, I'm sure of it. Once we know whose blood it is... Hey, Miles. Sorry to cut in on your mind, Palestine, but I was pondering something myself. Our friend Gusteau didn't come here just to check up on the body, did he? You mean because he tried to open the case? Exactamundo. Think we have anything that might explain why he tried to do that? He might. But Detective Gumshoe can make it back in time with a certain piece of evidence.
That's quite enough idle chatter, Defense. Now,
Mr. Edgeworth, sir, sorry to keep you waiting.
Speaking of the devil. Take it you have the test results, Detective?
Yes, sir. The lab just got back to me.
Were you just in the room the whole time? Didn't you need to send it over there? Were you just in the cold? What were you doing? I thought he was, you know, out. He took it to the lab by going there. That's not the exit.
Detective, please. Court is in session. Now then, am I right to assume that you are bringing us the evidence Mr. Edgeworth was just speaking of?
What? Take no fair. Why didn't anybody tell me about any of this?
It is indeed the evidence in question, Your Honor. It needed testing, so I asked him to carry it out.
Why is everybody always helping you? I'm supposed to be the one in charge here.
But nobody likes you. Mr. Winter, I'm sorry I didn't involve you, but this is important. Can you at least hear what the detective has to say?
Well, alright.
So, Detective Gumshoe, what did the tests have to tell us?
You're not going to believe this, but the owner of the blood we found in the liquid at the bottom of the Gemini case is Carmela Gusteau, the victim of the poison gas attack.
What are you talking about? Thank you, Detective. You've been very helpful. Well, looks like my suspicions were correct.
What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes, what do you mean? Explain yourself. What is the significance of this blood to this case?
It's only the very thing the perpetrator of the IS-7 incident has been trying to hide all these years. You hide. The fact that your blood was found inside the Gemini case, Mr. Gusteau, is as good as us finding your blood lying right next to Mr. Frost's body.
Overruled.
Why would there be traces of your blood there of all places, Mr. Gusteau? If you won't answer, Her Honor, Mr. Gusteau, then I will. There wasn't just blood in the liquid from the Gemini case. There were traces of salt and sugar, too. There were. And if you remember, one particular part of Mr. Frost's work was allegedly very salty indeed. Oh, yeah. You're talking about what Delicia told us back then, right? What was it again?
Did they ever? I never tried ices so scrumptious in all my life.
Really? Man, I wish I could add a bite.
Oh, scrumptious, except for that salty bit, of course. That was unbearable.
The salty bit?
It's in the other photo you got there. This bit, the Harvey thing.
Gemini's liar. Yes, the liar, and only the liar, tasted as if it had been flavored with salt. There were no traces of salt anywhere else in Mr. Frost's entry. Very interesting. Perhaps you can tell us, Mr. Edgeworth. Where did the salt on the liar come from?
Take that!
This is the lamp from the IS-7 incident? Indeed, and I believe that the salt that gave the liar its flavor came from just such a lamp. Mr. Von Karma had established that both the salt lamps were in Mr. Tangaroa's room at the time of the crime. One of them was used to kill Mr. Frost, and it was stained with his blood. No corresponding pool of blood was found in Mr. Tangaroa's room. Right, because the culprit had chucked a piece of chocolate with that into the little stream. Furthermore, aside from the liar, no traces of salt were found anywhere else in Mr. Frost's room either. Hey, come to think of it, the lamps we found in Delicia's room were both broken. The lamps appear to be broken. Bulbs are smashed, both of them. Maybe they fell and broke on the floor. I never did figure out how the one that wasn't used to kill Frost got busted, but I'll be thinking maybe it had Gusteau's blood on it at some point. Anyone whose blood was found on one of the lamps would have been a person of interest to the police. So the killer needed to hide the blood somehow, in a way that wouldn't arouse suspicion.
And you are seriously suggesting that the liar was used to do just that?
I am. I suspect that the bloody salt was somehow applied to the liar so that it could be hidden inside the case. Because unlike the fountain water, the sculptures would have needed more time and care to test properly. And so we waited and waited for a chance to dispose of the liar undetected.
Then, and the reason he's here today is...
18 years ago, Mr. Frost's body and the evidence pointing to his killer were taken away together. This, of course, was not part of the perpetrator's plan, and thus a new dilemma arose. The possibility that the body, the incriminating evidence, or both would resurface one day. So, back he comes 18 years later, sneaking in bright and early to try and cover his tracks. Well, Mr. Gusteau, are you finally ready to admit it? That you are the one responsible for the IS-7 incident?
Mr. Gusteau, it's all because of you that Samson...
Gusteau. So I finally got caught, huh? all these years later. Nobody came close back then, not even the big shot prosecutor or the attorney. That's some impressive work, Mr. Prosecutor. I have to hand it to you. You admit it, then, that you murdered Artie Frost. Sure, I do. I did it. I killed him. But he only had himself to blame.
What do you mean by that?
He agreed to help me. We were supposed to help each other so that one of us could win. And whoever won was supposed to let the other use the cookbook. But on the day of the final, the rat finally showed his true colors.
Talking.
Seriously, Frost, we got a deal.
Sorry, I'm not helping you in the final. Our little agreement is over, Gaston.
But I helped you. You spent all day yesterday. I spent all day yesterday making the ice for your pieces.
Did you? And can you prove that? You can prove that, I suppose?
What? You were planning to betray me right from the start, weren't you? But Frost double-crossed me. I had to make my piece of the final by myself. Like you said, my son wasn't there, so I didn't have any help with the flavor either.
So much for the pride you claim to have in your ability to make delicious desserts.
I hadn't judged. I had no idea what it was like for someone like me to lose my sense of taste. I gave up everything to be the best. To become the best. Everything. I take pride in that. Something someone like you could never understand.
Right, I don't understand. You take pride in the fact that you resorted to murder. Or that you abandoned your son. Why would I want to understand someone who would do such things?
A man can't afford to rely on other people. Learned that the hard way 18 years ago. My son never showed up on the day of the final. And in hindsight, I wouldn't be surprised if Frost was the reason why.
Why would you think that? What exactly happened to your son?
How am I supposed to know? I told you. It's none of my concern anymore. According to you guys, nobody knows where he is now either.
And you don't care? You're horrible!
So with his disappearance, so too went your chances of winning, correct?
Yeah, I could find another way of getting my hands on that book. That's when inspiration struck. I decided to skip afternoon tea and snuck into Tangaro's room. Should have been so easy. All I had to do was photograph the formulas I needed and get out of there. Frost showed up.
I thought I might find you here. Stealing recipes from the famous cookbook,
Frost!
What's this? A cure for taste disorders? Oh no, that's just too tragic. Confectioner who can't taste anything? What will people say?
If you tell anybody else... You what? You can't even hit me, you miserable worm. Why, you... Frost shoved me hard when I went to punch him. Knocked me clean off my feet. I crashed into one of the lamps. Must have been when my blood got on it.
So Mr. Frost wasn't the first to get hurt.
When it was all over, I realized I had to get rid of that blood somehow, so I scraped it all up. So I scraped off all the bloody bits. There's all those salt shavings and some flavored ice mixture and brushed it all over the harp. And that's how you made the evidence linking you to the murder vanish. Frost was going to blackmail me. Surely there was, like, salt in your room? I guess maybe not a lot, but maybe enough that you could open it up and just kind of mix it in and no one will notice. Or eat it. I don't know how safe those salt lamps are, necessarily, but... They're definitely colors, which is not a thing salt usually is. So there's probably something other than just salt in them. Ross was going to blackmail me. He would have made me give him money to keep quiet about my condition. You decided you had to kill him. Yeah, yeah, I guess I did. Why would I let him live? Do you want someone holding something like that over your head? Besides, he's the one who drew first blood. Makes for a solid case of self-defense, don't you think?
So that was the impetus behind it all.
Anyway, I initially took the lamp to Frost's room. It was right there once I figured out how I was going to hide the bloody part. And inspired by all the ice sculpting tools lying around the place, I guess. Not as dumb as you pretend to be. Yeah, I figured I could use them to chip it off and grind it up. Once that was done, painting the stuff all over the harp was easy.
Why Samson? Why did you have to frame him?
I never meant for the cops to pin it on him. That was your fault, you and the rest of them. Do you think I went to the trouble of placing the lamps and cloths back in Scone's room?
There's only one reason to plant the murder weapon in the room of another contestant, and that's to cast suspicion on that person.
What? You tried to frame me, Gusty Pants.
Yeah.
Why? Why poor old me?
Respected Tangaroa. He was the best true champion. I would never have wanted him to take the fall. But you're a fraud. Your work wasn't even real. You had no respect for our craft at all. You deserve to be punished for what you did.
Oh, Gusty, how could you?
And had you refrained from eating Tangaroa's work, Frost's body wouldn't have been found. My plan was to wait until Tangaroa was judging your room. That's when I'd sneak the corpse in Frost's room and freeze it. Thanks to you, Bound here found it before I had a chance to retrieve it.
I don't understand. Why did you need to freeze his body at all?
Oh, indeed.
Mr. Edgeworth, surely you must know. Why did Mr. Stowe need to freeze Mr. Frost's body? The reason Mr. Gusteau had to freeze the body was to hide the true scene of the crime from the police. So he wanted to confuse them over where it really happened.
That's one heck of an icy glare from Judge Gavella, Mr. Edgeworth.
Well, alright, message received. What's the truth this time? Why did Mr. Gusteau need to...
Okay, I guess it's the time of death.
Mr. Gusteau needed to freeze Mr. Frost's body in order to obscure the time of death. If they determined that the murder occurred during afternoon tea, he would have been an obvious suspect.
Bingo. Freezing Frost's body wasn't simple. Preparing everything took time. So I decided to put his body in the chest in Tangaroa's room, while I got everything ready in Frost's. At the time, it seemed like the perfect hiding place. Never counted on some gluttonous pharmacist showing up and making the whole ship collapse.
I still don't get it, though. Why disguise the body as an ice sculpture at all?
The sooner it was found, the smaller the effect of freezing would have had on masking the time of death. Therefore, he needed to disguise it, at least until it had fully frozen. How awful! Using Mr. Frost's own work to help you cover up the truth behind his murder.
Ironically, Tangaroa would have been just fine if the body hadn't been found before I got it out of his room. If only things had gone to plan, he wouldn't have even been arrested, let alone convicted.
You mean it was my fault? Everything that happened to Samson, it was all because I found the body?
Don't let him get inside your head, Judes. None of this is your fault. If it wasn't Samson, it would have been Delicia instead. She would have been the one they arrested. Either way, there's only one person to blame here, and that's Cousteau. Didn't help that the initial detective was so bad at his job, either. He never even told the prosecutor that the body had vanished. So then, Mr. Von Karma had unwittingly placed Mr. Tongado under arrest in the absence of a body. I mean, I guess it would explain why he was so keen to wrap things up. Still, you'd think he'd notice something as big as that if he'd taken a look at a few reports, right? What if someone had been deliberately distorting the facts of the case, though? Either way, it seems that Mr. Von Karma didn't know about the body until after the arrest had been made. But admitting that would have spoiled his perfect record. So he kept it to himself and proceeded to prosecute Mr. Tongado regardless.
Can this really be true?
You don't feel bad at all? Somebody spent 18 years in prison because of you.
Sticks and stones, girlie. Sticks and stones.
What a jerk. I'd arrest you right now, pal.
I'm afraid I can't allow you to do that, Detective.
So you noticed, huh? Glad somebody did. And Joe's right. You can't lay a finger on me.
What? Why? You just confessed to murder.
No idea, huh? And I guess I better lay it out for you. Why, you can't arrest me. Except, I must go feed the dog. The thing went off a little bit ago. So I will feed the dog and the cat. Creatures will be fed, and I will be back in just a minute. Not a minute, but a bit. Shortly. returned. And well, that's it. No, the box has an odd symbol by its name. Oh well. Ah, no, don't pull that off. Oh, my wires. Can you sit in the right places, please? Okay. Turn that off. Back into the game. You've got a testimony now. I killed Frost 18 years ago. The statute of limitations for murder in this country is 15 years. You do the math. You can't arrest me. You think I'd have confessed otherwise?
That's right. The statute of limitations is only 15 years. Is this really the end of the line, Mr. Edgeworth?
Once the statute is expired, he can't be charged, so...
But...
Unfortunate, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm afraid that both Mr. Gusteau's confession and your deductions will have to be struck from the record. And that Mr. Tangaroa's conviction will remain in place.
I feel like that should still overturn the old thing, even if you can't arrest the other guy. That's dumb. What are you talking about? But we've finally proven that the police never had Mr. Frost's body in their possession. Even if we can't arrest Mr. Gusteau, surely Mr. Tangaroa has grounds for a retrial on that basis.
Does he? I wouldn't be so sure. I'm afraid that the goddess's judgments are somewhat harder to overturn than you might imagine.
So the committee means for the verdict from 18 years ago to stand no matter what. Bad luck, Mr. Prosecutor. There must be something we can do. Something to bring Mr. Gusteau down.
Hold it!
The passage of time doesn't diminish what you did, Mr. Gusteau. It sure diminishes just one thing, though. Your ability to arrest me. Oh, we can arrest you. We can arrest you real good. I could have you in cuffs before you even blink, pal. Right, Mr. Edgeworth? This issue isn't as open and shut as you're making it out to me, Detective. You can't touch me. It's too late for that. Statute of limitations for murder in this country is 15 years.
Hold it!
Depending on your actions over the last 18 years, the statute might not have expired yet. This ought to be good. Alright, I got nothing to hide. If there's something you want to ask it. Very well. Tell us where you've been and what you've been doing since the incident. Sure. Not long after the contest, I was able to cure my taste disorder thanks to the formula from that book. Not so long after that, I went to Zingfall to really buckle down and hone my craft. That explains a lot. We tried to contact you after the fact, but I guess you were long gone by then, huh? Could be. I left, let's see, around a year after the murder, before Tangaroa's last day in court. Going to Zingfall was the best thing I ever did. Flavor, design, I'm the full package now.
Objection!
And all on the backs of those whose lives you destroyed. Well, it's an omelet without a few eggs, and nothing, Mr. Prosecutor, nothing. You're evil. Sticks and stones, girlie. You can't arrest me. That's all that matters. Need more to work with. Must be something I can get out of him. Maybe I can push him further on the statements he just made. Is there anything I should follow up on? I'd like you to tell us more about your training in Zingfa, if you wouldn't mind. Fine. I later went to Zingfa to train, and finally became the best in the world.
Hold it!
Zhang Fa, and you were there for a while, I'd imagine? Yeah, I left sometime after the investigation wrapped up. I'd been meaning to go there and start my studies for a while, thanks to the hard work I put in. Ooh. My designs are now world class. Whoa, that's amazing! I like it. It's yours.
Really? Alright.
So he spent some time in Zhangfall training. Statute of limitations for murder in this country is 15 years. You do the math. You can't arrest me.
Hold it!
Never say never, Mr. Gusteau. Nothing is impossible. Really? Come on, give it up. Your father couldn't catch me. What makes you think you can? He would have solved the whole case if it hadn't been for Mr. Von Karma obstructing him at every turn. Now, the statute of limitations is threatening to inter the truth of this case forever.
Don't listen to him, Mr. Edgeworth. You can't give up. Not now. We're doing this for your dad, so we have to see it through to the end.
Okay.
The truth is right there for the taking. What kind of great thieves are we if we don't grab it for ourselves?
I'm not a great thief, Kay. But you're right. Carmelo Gusteau, I won't allow you to make off with the truth. Do your worst. You think I'd have confessed otherwise?
Hold it!
That was the only reason, because you knew the statute has expired. Why else would I do it? Why would anybody? Not that I planned on it ever coming out, of course. And why was that? Because I'm finally the world's greatest confectioner. Petty stuff like this only gets in the way of me and my craft. So, you're more concerned about you and your rep than the fact that Samson's still rotting in jail? I've seen some pieces of work in my time, but you're just flat out unforgivable. Who cares about forgiveness? I did what I did. I don't need you to understand any of it. Alright, Miles, it's official. Uncle Eddie is mad, and that doesn't happen often. You're not the only one. But don't worry, he won't get away with this. Not if I can help it. Mr. Gusteau is no ordinary opponent. He's gone 19 years without his crimes being exposed.
Think, Mr. Edgeworth, there must be some way for us to arrest him.
This guy's probably watched a few legal dramas before, but he's no lawyer, not like you and me. There's gotta be some loophole somewhere we can use. There's just gotta. He's right. Mr. Gusteau is just an armchair attorney after all. Suspended should the suspect flee to a foreign country, suspended from the time of any accomplice's indictment to the end of their trial. Yeah, so that's like plenty of time. I don't know how long you've been gone, but
Objection!
that's not the right place for it. You're lying, Mr. Gusteau, and this proves it. This is no time for meditation. I need you to look at the evidence. I don't need to look at it. It's garbage. You need to try harder. Looking to improve your professional skills, I wholeheartedly recommend going to St. Fa. Okay. I guess we put it over here, even though...
Objection!
I guess that is the statement that was uncovered, but... the book just seems odd to put against it. Rather than... I guess that's not how it worked before. The statute of limitations for murder is subject to the following condition. The statute is suspended should the suspect flee to a foreign country, which means that the time you spent abroad doesn't count toward the total time under the statute.
No way. So it's like when someone hit pause while he was in Zangfa?
It appears that there may be time left on the clock yet. That will depend on how long you stayed in Zangfa, Mr. Gusteau.
It was 3 years exactly. 3 years. Hold on. Nobody say anything until I've done the math. Murder happened 18 years back. The statute is 15 years. 3 years overseas.
15 plus 3 makes exactly 18. Which means, no way. Mr. Edgeworth, you did it. The statute hasn't expired after all.
Bingo, 18 years exactly. Glad you worked it out for yourselves. He's just been stringing us along this whole time.
But why is he laughing? We're good, aren't we? We can arrest him now.
I hate to break it to you, little sis, but IS-7 went down at the end of December. It's April now, which means, strictly speaking, it's been 18 years and 4 months since Frost's murder. If Gusteau's stay in Zangfa really lasted 3 years on the nose, it's not enough. We're a few months short.
Not enough, but...
What did I tell you? You can't touch me. I hate to admit it, but he read the board well while he made his confession.
How unfortunate, Mr. Edgeworth. If only the statute has been suspended for another year.
It was, sort of, if we're counting the fact that the guy who was being in trial and got arrested didn't actually do anything. He was still under that pretense, so I think it still counts.
Those who would overturn the goddess's judgment must be willing to pay the price should they fail. And you, Mr. Edgeworth, have failed.
There must be something I can do.
I knew it. Well, if the law can't bring Mr. Gusteau to justice, then...
Judes, what are you thinking?
Objection!
There's no need to go adding to your rhapsody just yet. We're not done here. Far from it. Because there's still a way we can nail him.
There is...
Alright, Miles Reno. Pep talk. I need you to think back over everything we know about the case. Stowe's overlooked one critical thing that you yourself were led to believe wrongly about.
Which is...
He wasn't there for Sampson's last trial, remember? Best I can tell, he doesn't seem to know what the final verdict that came down that day is. Which means there's still one way left to us. Crack open your statutes for dummies there and take another look. 17 years ago, they really did a number on Sampson and framed him like a pretty picture. But if we make good use of that verdict now, we can make Stowe pay in full for what he's done.
Fender, are you...
Those who would overturn the goddess's judgments must be willing to pay the price should they fail. Sampson's my client, Miles. I can't bring myself to use the sorcerer's pain as a weapon in this fight. So whether we play our last card or not, it's gonna have to be up to you.
Bringing Mr. Gusteau to justice can only happen if I use the outcome of that hard-fought trial. So, should I raise an objection and play that card or not? My father and Mr. Von Karma, one sought to reveal the truth, the other to hide it. I know which path I choose to follow, the one that seeks to reveal the truth. This court has reached its final verdict. The record will state that Mr. Gusteau has been found not guilty on all counts.
Objection!
No, Your Honor. Mr. Carmelo Gusteau is absolutely guilty. And I refuse to let him walk away. His crimes are too unspeakable to go unpunished.
Do you mean to suggest that you have grounds upon which to call for his arrest?
I do. I want to show Judge Gravel something that proves the statute of limitations hasn't yet expired.
Take that!
Very well. Is there a particular page of the IS-7 case file you'd like us to refer to?
I believe it was under the suspect data. I'd like to direct your attention to the page concerning the suspect. As you can see, Samson Tangaroa was convicted as an accomplice. And it took around 1 year for his indictment for that verdict to be reached. From his indictment.
Yes, that does seem to be the case.
The book you gave us details certain conditions pertaining to the statute of limitations for murder. One of them, as I mentioned, is that the statute is suspended if the suspect flees the country. And another states that the statute is suspended from the time of any accomplice's indictment to the end of their trial. What? Tangaroa was convicted as an accomplice. Yep, guess you were in Zhangfa when the verdict came down. Samson was convicted as an accomplice, not as the main perpetrator. Which is clearly news to you. Not good news either, am I right? But how can that be? Tangaroa wasn't an accomplice to anyone. He was innocent and you know it. Oh, we know it. It's what we've been trying to prove all along. In a pleasing twist of fate, his wrongful conviction will be the very thing that sets him free. If you spent 3 years in Zhangfa, and your accomplice Samson Tangaroa was on trial for 1 year, it means you can still be charged with Mr. Frost's murder up to 19 years after the fact. In other words, the statute of limitations hasn't expired at all.
The goddess's judgment is infallible, but that of her servants, it appears, is not. It seems the prosecutor in charge of this case may have erred. Unbelievably, we may have no choice but to instigate a full inquiry.
No! How could this? You weren't supposed to be able to... 18 years. That's a long time to let somebody else suffer for your crimes. It's time to pay the piper, Gusteau. Not a moment too soon. But I'm finally the greatest. My brilliance has been recognized. I gave up everything for this. Everything! Even my son! More's the pity. You can't run from the law forever, because the bills come due at last. Alrighty. Mr. Gusteau's all set for a trip downtown, sir.
Oh, that good, which means it's your turn next, right? I suppose so.
Judes.
I am so sorry, everybody. I've caused you all so much trouble. But thank you. Thank you so much for bringing Mr. Gusteau to justice at last.
I'm afraid there's no escaping the consequences of your actions, Miss Bound. But those actions were born of the legal mistakes that were made all those years ago. We know that. So allow me to apologize in return, on behalf of the prosecution.
Oh, no. I've no one to blame but myself for it all, starting with those sculptures.
Hey, Judes. You think you might want me to represent you? I'm not some nervous newbie anymore. And there's no way I'm letting you take the rap for everything. Ooh.
Oh, I'd be honored. Thank you, Mr. Fender.
Those tears look really gross. Sorry, ma'am, but you gotta come with me now.
Of course.
Judge Cavell, why did you lie to us?
Lie?
What are you talking about? You implied that there was no case for a retrial, but as we've proven, that wasn't true. Surely anyone truly committed to seeing justice done would have called one as soon as the body was found.
I am under no obligation to answer such questions.
And you clearly have no intention of doing so either.
Truly, you are proving to be quite a threat to the committee for prosecutorial excellence. As such, you give me little choice but to report back on your continued transgressions. No doubt you will be called to appear before the committee in due course. Now, I must be on my way.
What the heck? After you caught the real killer and everything. Isn't that what prosecutors are supposed to do?
Regardless of how it may all play out, we'll never regret what we accomplished here today.
Mr. Edgeworth. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth.
Yes?
Why did you stick your nose in this case anyway? You weren't even on the job.
My job is to bring the truth to light, Mr. Winner. Not only as a prosecutor, but as a person.
I don't get it.
I wouldn't expect you to understand, not as long as you believe that closing a case makes you a winner.
That's going way over my head. I'm going home. What was that all about?
Eustace still has a lot to learn, is all.
Mousy wowsy.
Yes.
I just wanted to say old Greggy Pegleg would have been proud of you today. Oh, look at me tearing up. And thanks for helping poor Sammy Booble.
Of course.
Hey, Edgy, it looks like you cleared everything up, huh? So, what happened exactly? I was kind of busy sketching. Wait, what? Where did Judy and Verity go? Wow, you really weren't paying attention, were you?
Though I am loath to admit it, Mary's sketches did come through for us on more than one occasion. Not that I'm about to tell him that.
Put up with the glaring, will ya? Whatever I did, I'm sorry.
Calm down, Larry. I wasn't glaring at you.
You totally were. You're just like your pop. He was a terrible liar, too.
He was.
Listen, I'm gonna head out. Need to fill Samson in on what went down today. You wanna come with?
Yes, of course.
Great, and I'm coming too. Sure.
April 2nd, 4:56 p.m. Detention Center. Visitors room.
So, what's Mr. Tangaroa like? I can't wait to finally meet him.
Oh, he's a real sweetheart. You'll love him. Even while locked up, he can't help but make all sorts of cookies and cakes for everyone. Something seems ominous here. It's why 3 p.m. cake extravaganza is a thing for prisoners and guards alike.
Really? That sounds awesome. You think there will be any left for us to try?
Didn't we find a few slices of chocolate cake in the prison the other day? Could they have been some of Mr. Tangaroa's baked goods?
Oh, there he is. what are you doing here?
I heard you all coming to see Mr. Tangaroa, so I volunteered to escort him. Hello, new friends. I'm Samson Tangaroa. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth, at your service.
I'm Mr. Edgeworth's trusty sidekick, Kay Faraday.
It's very nice to meet you both. Miles, here's Gregory's son. Is that so? My father was very kind to me. Fought so hard for my case. But in the end, I betrayed him. I made a false confession, and... Don't worry, Mr. Tangaroa. Mr. Bender has explained everything to me. Sure did. Now, we're here to tell you the truth about what happened 18 years ago. The truth? Judy did all that for me? Crazy kid racked her brain for 18 years until she finally figured out how to set you free. What can I say? Turns out she really would do anything for you. Oh, Judy. I never did anything to deserve such devotion. Come now, Mr. Tangaroa. I think we all know that's not true. The bond between the two of you is held strong for all these years, after all. You think so? Guess I'd better show him. Which piece of evidence is proof of the bond, Mr. Tangaroa and Miss Bound's share? Chocolate.
Take that!
Those chocolates. Judy made them, didn't she? Yes, she did.
They're super delicious and sweet.
Miss Bound continued making them just as you taught her, even after that fateful day. So that there would always be some waiting for you when you finally came home. Judy. I bet they're beyond super sweet then, aren't they? Very much so, I'm afraid. Only wish we could hand them to you. Don't worry, sir. I'll make sure he gets them later. Which would be a clear breach of prison policy. Not that I have the authority now to stop him anyway. Thank you very much. You know, Detective, something about you reminds me of Detective Bad. Really, pal? Because I look up to him a lot. He's my role model. You don't say. Seems fate likes to bring people of all sorts together, huh? You hang in there, Samson. Just a little longer. I should be able to get you out soon. Sorry it's taken so long. Nobody should have to wait the 18 years to get justice. Don't be silly, Eddie. I'm the one who should be saying sorry. Or rather... Thank you. Truly. Samson. Well, I guess it's my turn to wait for Judy to come home now. Better make sure there's something delicious on the table for her when she finally walks through that door. Don't let me down, Eddie. Lee, leave it to me, you big guy. The IS-7 incident. It's been 18 long years, but this case we'd inherited from my father is finally coming to a close. Hey, Miles. Thanks for today. And sorry for forcing you to make the final call like that. Not at all. Simply made the call that felt right to me.
Huh? What are you guys talking about?
You know how Samson was wrongfully convicted? We had to pretend he wasn't in order to nail Gusto. But to use his false conviction against him, even to save him. As his lawyer, I just couldn't bring myself to do it.
Yeah, I can see that.
But now the Gusto's behind bars, I can finally start to get that wrongful conviction overturned. Yes, I'm sure you will.
Wait a minute, does this mean that even if you were only doing what's right, if the false conviction had been overturned before today, Mr. Gusto would have got away scot-free?
Yep. It's what we folks in the trade like to call a legal contradiction. The law is far from perfect.
Because of things like legal contradictions, right?
Yeah, but you never know. Things might change. The law's always evolving, just like us humans. Your Uncle Eddie and Miles Reno included. Am I right? Potential for growth and change in people and the law, huh? So, Miles, you going to keep fighting crime as a prosecutor or help people as an attorney? Something tells me you've got a big decision ahead of you. One only you can answer. I know. Well, let's just say I won't complain if you show up at the office on one day. And on that note, it's time for me to skedaddle. I owe you big time, and I always repay my debts. But for now, thanks again for today. I mean it.
Did he seem kind of in a hurry to get out of here to you?
He did. And honestly speaking, I'm the one who owes him a good debt of gratitude. After all, he gave me the chance to reckon with my father's final case. When I was a boy, all I'd ever dreamed of was becoming an attorney like my father. But then, during my time with Mr. Von Karma, I learned the way the prosecutor instead. Why did you end up with him? Like, did you not have other family members? Why that guy? Eventually, with the help of some good friends, I found my own voice and a new way to live. But now my career as a prosecutor is at risk of being taken away from me. Maybe time to take another long, hard look at how I want to live my life, whether I like it or not. April 2nd, Edgeworth and Co. Law Offices. Hey, Gregory. Sorry for reporting in so late. It may take an 18 years, but we're finally in a position to prove Samson's innocence. All thanks to your boy Miles. Couldn't have done it without him. You should have seen him. The way he fought for the truth gave me chills. Just like I was watching you. Look, I know I'm not half the attorney you were. Those guiding principles you tried to instill in me. But those guiding principles you tried to instill in me, I like to think I'm embodying them now as I carry on your legacy. Here's hoping. No. Your boy will be joining me in that soon. Am I going to fight crime as a prosecutor or help people as an attorney? What is the right answer? What path should I choose? The end of episode 3. Save progress, yes. I believe if I leave... not what I wanted. Yeah, it goes over here. Well, there is another episode, it looks like. Okay. Anyway. But, that's done. Episode 3, that is. It's 10:30. I definitely don't want to start another thing with not a lot of time left, so we'll stop here. And then, on Monday, we shall return with episode 4. See how that goes. Let's see. Anything else? No. I'll be back Monday. Then also Wednesday, I'm playing more of that Mario game because it did not end as quickly as I thought. I thought that thing would be to lead to the final boss, but it's just another area with more levels. So I'll have to play through that. So I'll play more of that on Wednesday, but Monday we'll have Ace Attorney, more of it. Yes. Anything else? No. I think that's all. Have a nice day. Goodbye.